Tonight, CA Douglas Field is sold out for a Class 6A Top 5 matchup. Saraland is the #1 ranked team in 6A. Theodore is ranked #3, and both teams are undefeated. As AO.com high school reporter Ben Thomas wrote the other day, this is the coastal game of the year. I'll even say this, it's one of the biggest games in the state, and now it's about to go down. Saraland and Theodore battle for a region championship. Good evening and welcome to the MCPSS High School Football Kickoff Show. I'm Al Wheaton, joined by Corey LeBounty. Corey, one of these teams will leave the field tonight a region champ.
Well, you know, you start talking about Jeff Kelly and the Saraland Spartans trying to go back-to-back region championships. That's hard to accomplish.
Yes.
Whereas in Theodore, this is their first time in 6A, dropping down from 7A classification. They're no stranger to becoming region champions, but have never done so at the 6A level. So they're striving to go ahead and make history right here on their own home field.
They sure are. And for Saraland, winning back-to-back would be monumental. As you know, their nemesis is Spanish Fort. And to my surprise, Jeff Kelly only has 2 region titles in 12 years at Saraland, Corey.
6A Region 1, we call it the SEC West. And why do we do that? Because it's deep from top to bottom. And on any given week, a 9 seed or an 8 seed can beat the top seed. And only 4 teams qualify for the playoffs in 6A Region 1. And we've seen many years a 4 seed go on to play for a state championship here in the state of Alabama. So again, 1 versus 2 tonight matchup, regional championship on the line.
It is.
It's going to be a barn burner.
As I told you, both teams are undefeated. As you saw on the graphic, they are undefeated. So, Corey, for them to remain undefeated, what do these teams need to do tonight? What's on your checklist? Saraland comes in as the visiting team and the #1 team in 6A.
Well, the #1 thing the #1 team has to do is stop the run. Eric Collier absolutely loves to run the football. Everybody knows it. Can they stop it? You must be balanced if you're Saraland. We know the Spartans have a phenomenal quarterback who's thrown for over 1,600 yards, but they need to be able to run the football as well if the wide receivers are bracketed. You must handle this raucous atmosphere, Al. There will be no empty seats, standing room only along the gate. It's going to be a festive and outstanding atmosphere. Theodore, on the other hand, they must pressure the pocket. KJ Lacey cannot get comfortable throwing the football if you're a Theodore Bobcat fan. And if he does, it's going to be a long night. Pound the pigskin. That's exactly what Eric Collier loves to do, and it'll be up for the big nasties up front to open up the gaping holes for the running backs. And Theodore takeaways are going to be a huge factor as well. Can they turn the Spartans over? The Spartans have done an outstanding job controlling the turnover ratio this season, as they have not lost the turnover battle all year long.
You're right about that, Corey. Saraland has 16 takeaways, 10 interceptions, 6 fumble recoveries. They are at +10 in the 10 turnover ratio, so that is their key, definitely creating those turnovers. It is a great night. Oh, my goodness. When I pulled up, Corey, I thought I was going to just slide on in and get me a spot close to the front. No sirree. The parking is all the way out to Swedetown Road. It might be out to Highway 90, but the weather's great. So let's check in with our good friend Kimberly Dunn down on the field for the BSN weather forecast.
Hey guys, it is a great night for football, and I know the players will be enjoying it tonight because we are going to be entering our football game at 62 degrees. A fabulous night. You couldn't ask for better weather. There are clear skies, 0% chance of rain. That humidity is about 63%, but that's nothing we really have to worry about tonight. So hopefully that will keep the cramps down and make for an exciting night of high school football.
Yes, you're right about that, Kim. Hopefully no cramps, and we'll be checking in back with her later on during the ball game. Weather won't have an impact. So, Corey, if that's the case, what players are going to have an impact tonight?
Well, you can just pick a player tonight off either one of these rosters, but ones to really keep your eye on for the Saraland Spartans, of course, is going to be number 9, KJ Lacey. The sophomore quarterback has thrown for over 1,600 yards, 25 touchdowns, only 3 interceptions. And he's been throwing to his #1 wide receiver, who wears #1, Ryan Hollywood Williams, who is already a verbal commit to the University of Alabama as a sophomore. So Both of these players are very explosive for Jeff Kelly's offense. On the flip side, for the Theodore Bobcats, you're talking about Braden Jenkins. This young man is a senior running back, and he absolutely torched Opelika 3 weeks ago. When he gets in the open field past the line of scrimmage, go ahead and put 6 on the board. And his quarterback, Cam Rigby, has had a very decent season for the Theodore Bobcats, throwing for over 890 yards, 14 touchdowns, only 4 interceptions. That's exactly the type of leadership that he needs to show tonight and value the football for Eric Collier's Theodore Bobcats.
Quite an impact. We're going to keep our eyes on those players tonight as the ball game unfolds. And Corey, we talked about the atmosphere of this ball game. It is unreal. You would think, yes, we're in week 10, but this is almost like a ball game, a playoff type atmosphere for Saraland and Theodore. Only their 3rd time meeting, and they've split it. Saraland won the first one, Theodore won last year.
And what you start looking at, as the first time these two teams met, Saraland was the more seasoned and the more veteran squad. The second time they met a year ago, Theodore had more seniors on their roster. And now the tables have turned to where Jeff Kelly has a tremendous amount of young players, sophomores and juniors on his roster.
Sure does.
And when you start looking at the experience factor, sometimes the Spartans don't know that they are supposed to be scared or nervous for this big-time game atmosphere.
Right.
And that's something to keep an eye on tonight.
That is something. Coach Kelly told me the other day when I talked on the phone with him, because they have such a young group, they haven't been through all the toils and tribulations as, say, the Bobcats have with experience, more seniors and more juniors. But for them, Corey, you're right. That doesn't bother those sophomores. They're just playing another ball game for the most part. So that's something that we definitely got to keep our eye on. And keeping our eye on, we also have to give a special thanks, and we're excited about putting on our pink tonight. Is October's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, so you see us with our pink, and Kimberly Dunn has her pink on. So I think we picked a great night to sport the pink with such a great turnout tonight, Corey.
What we've seen the whole month of October, really across the country, is the support for breast cancer awareness.
Right.
You'll see the cheerleaders, you'll see the football players with socks or whether it's sleeves, a tremendous cause, a tremendous support for the cause of breast cancer awareness, and that's why we're wearing our pink tonight, Al. And again, when you start talking about understanding why people are wearing pink and people that are affected by it, I absolutely love the month of October when football season rolls around.
So we're going to see a lot of that tonight on the field. My producer told me over 5,500 tickets have been sold, and he is correct, but I think Coach Collier upped them. Coach Collier told me yesterday morning, capacity is close to 6,500. So we're probably going to be standing room only tonight, Corey.
Well, that's the type of atmosphere that you want. When we circled this on our calendar, when we saw the schedules released, we knew that this matchup could be of epic proportions. Now, both teams have done their jobs being undefeated up to this point in time in the season. Only one team will walk away undefeated and also crowned region champion. So a lot's on the line, and again, we'll see if the home field advantage here at C.A. Douglas Field is in favor of the Bobcats, or whether the Spartan Nation, who has traveled very well on this road game, make a difference also.
And Spartan Nation is definitely full on the other side as we are here. And speaking of full, we have seen some celebrities in the house tonight. We even saw the legendary, the one and only Ben Harris here tonight. And Corey, he told you he just wanted to see some good ball. That's why he came out.
Great football, the legendary coach at Blunt High School, 4-time state champion. When you start talking about him being an Alabama High School Hall of Fame coach, he just wanted to see great football on top of Joe Downey, who used to coach here.
That is correct. That's
Region
correct.
champions in 2000 here at Theodore. He's in the building. Tony Combs, a former head coach here at Theodore for many years. So a lot of alumnus. Kirsten Rogers, the running back last year,
down on the sideline,
is on the sideline.
Sure,
so it's just an electric atmosphere, getting ready for some wonderful high school football.
And it was a great night for wonderful ball, because I saw some Troy coaches here. I know South Alabama lost, but the Troy coaches are going to see a great ball game. We appreciate you joining us for the pregame kickoff show. Headed your way, it is the kickoff. Saraland versus Theodore. Don't move.
Mobile County Public Schools, the place that has it all. We have 90 schools that include rural, urban, and suburban schools of various sizes. We are also home to Alabama's first public school. We welcome you to come join our winning team. Our district is led by the 2020 Superintendent of the Year, Mr. Kressel D. Threadgill. Our teachers are leaders in their profession who are afforded numerous professional development opportunities. Our principals are collaborators and encouragers. Our schools are leading in innovation and instruction. And most importantly, our students who are learning today, leading tomorrow, are simply the best. If you want to live in a historically rich city near beautiful beaches with superb Southern hospitality, we invite you to come teach with the best. Team MCPSS.
This is a program for any middle school student who's actually behind. This opportunity offers kids a chance to do 2 grades in 1 year.
If it wasn't for Star Academy, I would still be in 8th grade and probably still struggling.
We are one-on-one. We have small classrooms and we're able to give students that personal touch, that personal attention.
I know I'm coming to see good teachers, good attitude, and also they're here to teach us what we need to learn.
For a battle of epic proportions, Saraland and Theodore are meeting for the 3rd time, and tonight it's for all the marbles. Up for grabs is the title of region champ. Can the Spartans unite for victory, or will the Bobcats band together and defend home turf? They've been on a collision course all year, and tonight the rubber meets the road for these 2 teams. It's time for the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Al Whedon, along with Corey LeBounty. Covering the sidelines, we have Kimberly Dunn. We have just finished the coin toss. Theodore won the toss and decided to decline, so Saraland is going to get the ball first. So Corey, we're going to get to take a look at this explosive Jeff Kelly offense right out the gate.
Well, when you start talking about Jeff Kelly's offense, they average 43.9 points per game. Well, that's no small feat when you start talking about Jeff Kelly, who played his high school football at Centronell, went on to become a very successful quarterback at Southern Miss, and then goes to the NFL and throws the football for the Seattle Seahawks. But I tell you what, Al, when you start looking at these 2 high-powered offenses tonight, I think they say defense wins championships, and we'll see exactly what happens tonight by both of these defensive squads.
And boom goes the fireworks as the Bobcats come out of the tunnel. It is absolutely electrifying here at C.A. Douglas Field. Corey, this reminds me similar to a ball game back in 2018. If you think back, McGill-Tulane came in riding a 30-game region winning streak. They were ranked number 6 in the state. At that time, Theodore was ranked number 9, and Theodore got the win that night, 13-5 to break that region win streak McGill had. But they didn't have fireworks like that.
No, what you start talking about, Al, is the changing of the guard in that game right there, to where Theodore decided they were tired of McGill-Tulane running 7A Region 1.
Yeah.
They wanted to have something to say about it, and because of that, again, now the Theodore Bobcats, a couple of region championships later, are in a new classification on a new quest.
There's Alan Duhan, our white hat in the crew, Scott Seeley, Danny Frazier, Anthony Garrett, Ricky Doyle, Lyman Clemens, and Carl McDowell. We saw them down on the field. I saw you talking to Anthony as they were heading down. Corey, I'm serious. This is truly playoff atmosphere, and we are in week 10 of high school football. But what do you expect? You got the number 1 and number 3 team in 6A about to go head-to-head.
But when you start talking about what is the best matchup, it has to be teams that are undefeated.
Yes.
8-0 versus 8-0, you're unblemished. And in this situation, we'll see. Nick Saban talked about having fun playing the game. Don't play when you make mistakes or worry about making mistakes. Just have fun playing the game. We'll see how loose both of these teams are when this ball is kicked off here momentarily.
Heading out to kick for Theodore, Miguel Frias. And the kick returners for Saraland, as Coach Kelly told me, you can pick your poison. Ryan Williams, Sante McWilliams, or C.D. Gill. He said, Al, they kick it to whichever one they want to, but that's who I'm going to put back. The smoke from the fireworks hovering in the air on a somewhat chilly night here down in Theodore, as we are at capacity and past in the north end zone. It is standing room only for this battle, as we are moments away from toe meeting level.
Special teams is the third phase of the game that a lot of people overlook. It won't be overlooked tonight, as every extra point, every kickoff, every punt will be magnified.
And we are underway. Frias kind of hooks it. That's a live ball. It went 10 yards. And Theodore has recovered. Coach Collier and the Bobcats have stole a possession right off the top of the ball game.
Well, that's exactly what we're talking about. Special teams is overlooked. How do you steal a possession? Well, you actually don't onside kick it. You don't field it after it goes 10 yards. And Frias does an outstanding job of ball placement. And you start looking at Theodore being Johnny on the spot. And now we'll see Theodore's offense get on the field earlier than expected.
So I'm gonna go ahead and flip my flip chart over to Theodore and get ready for the starting lineup after this first play. 1st and 10, the ball's on the 35. Right up the middle goes Braden Jenkins as he opens up with a big run for Theodore. Take a look at that lineup. Leading the Bobcats on the field is quarterback Cameron Rigby. He's a 50% passer, has 14 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Theodore is going to run it as they just did with Braden Jenkins. He has 8 yards a carry on average with 18 touchdowns. Senior wideouts Trey Glover and Tavares Sullivan. Sullivan has 4 touchdowns and Glover has 3, so when they throw it, look for them to get it to them as they go back once again to Braden Jenkins.
And that's what you're going to ask for. Braden Jenkins, 5'10", 175-pound junior. And Kirsten Rogers, the running back from a year ago, he tweeted out and said earlier, look, this is the new GOAT at hand. And you can see why this young man has almost 1,200 yards rushing.
2nd down and about 8 coming up here for Theodore as they continue to ground and pound and run. And Jenkins has hit pay dirt. And Theodore is on the board first.
That couldn't have been scripted any better for the Theodore beginning. And you start getting an onside kick or a kick off that was not fielded by Saraland.
Right.
And just like that, it's a turnover. 6 points off of those turnovers. Braden Jenkins does what he does and now has 19 rushing touchdowns on the season.
Frias on for the extra point. He is 32 for 36 on the year. And let's make that 33 for 37 as Theodore comes out and punches Saraland in the mouth early.
Look at the replay. Great push by Cameron Rogers, Gianni Smith, Andrew Gay, Marquez Timmons, and Michael Braggs. The big nasties up front paving the way for Braden Jenkins on that drive.
And there it is, 11-yard run for Jenkins. 3 plays, 32 yards, 50 seconds. And Corey, it basically turned into the Braden Jenkins show because he had every possession that Theodore did in that series.
Well, again, credit to the offensive line, opening up the holes, and it's going to be up for this Saraland defense led by defensive coordinator Brett West to make those adjustments. And that's the youth that Jeff Kelly was talking about.
Correct.
Now that they've been hit in the mouth, will they respond, Al? And that's what's so very important. Now that the nerves are gone, the offense will have an opportunity here if they field it cleanly to make a difference.
Definitely something that Coach Eric Collier and his special teams, Michael Baxter, decided to come up with to steal a possession early here in the ball game. Frias on the kick kind of does the same thing. Saraland looks a bit more ready. That's a live ball once again. Bounces off a Saraland player and goes out of bounds near the 40-yard line. So Saraland's going to get great field position. They're led by quarterback KJ Lacey. He's an explosive quarterback for this Spartans offense. He's thrown for more than 1,600 yards, has 25 touchdowns. He has dynamic wideouts, Ryan Williams, C.D. Gill. Williams has 15 touchdowns and could be inserted to run the Wildcat for Saraland. Leading rusher Sante McWilliams has 9 scores and no fumbles on the season. Up front, the offensive line is anchored by 2 big tackles, Ethan Green and Kyron Wilson. They're both 6'3". The Spartans average 254 yards. That is a lateral as it looked to be, so that's going to be a loss with that pass from K.J. Lacey out to C.D. Gill coming across.
And you start talking about a lateral pass. He was smart enough to jump on top of it, but it is going to put Jeff Kelly and the Spartans down at 2nd down and 16 yards to go.
Theodore in the all-black, visiting team Saraland in the white. Bobbled by Williams. He felt the pressure. And who brings the heat, Corey? Looks like Will James.
Welcome back, Will, as the 5'10", 170-pound senior gets his first action since week 0. This is a young man who is committed to Southern Miss, but is missed due to a collarbone injury. And welcome back, Will. And he says, hello, call my name tonight because I'm here to play football for Theodore High School. I'm not going to miss my entire senior season.
Made such an impact, knocked his helmet off, so he'll have to come off for one play. As they go to McWilliams, he turns the left edge, and he's met by a wall of Bobcats. And that's going to take Saraland to 4th down.
Well, what happens is that 1st down behind the sticks creates a long down and distance situations. The Theodore defense comes up with a tremendous stop, and now we'll see here if the Bobcats can continue to have outstanding field position off of this punt return.
Trey Glover headed back to field the punt. He averages about 5.5 yards a return. Hunter Kirkland is the punter, kicker, does all kicking duties for the Spartans. Nice punt by Kirkland. And Glover's going to fair catch it at the 20-yard line. So now Theodore is back on the field once again, up 7-0 with an early possession. They steal from somewhat of a pooch kick, if you want to call it. Got to thank our folks over there at Firehouse Subs for taking care of us tonight. Make sure you check out Firehouse Subs. Enjoy more subs, save more lives. A portion of subs purchased at Firehouse will go to the Firehouse Subs Public Safety Foundation. So visit our friends Jim and Susie Sherman at Firehouse. Also, BSN Sports. Got to thank them for what they do, where you get team apparel and equipment from baseball to wrestling and all sports in between. BSN Sports, the heart of the game. Visit them online at bsnsports.com. 1st and 10 for the Bobcats at their own 20. Going back to Jenkins once again, he plows ahead for maybe 2 or 3 on the carry.
Well, it's positive yardage on 1st down, which is what's important. But again, you start talking about this Saraland defense. They line up in this 3-4 formation, and it's going to be important for them to plug the gaps. And anytime the linemen are able to get to that 2nd level, it's going to spell trouble for the Spartans.
Ball sits on the 22. Continuing to run, Theodore pounding and pounding as Jenkins gets past the 25-yard line. Theodore trying to stay in front of the sticks.
Chris Thompson, the 6'2", 220-pound junior, comes up with his 16th solo tackle of the season. And now we're talking about 3rd down and 5 yards to go. It's called money down for a reason, because it's money if the defense can force the offense to punt the football, money if the offense can get the 1st down.
Trip receivers to the top. Rigby throws. Incomplete. It's going to be 4th down here coming up for Theodore. And we will see the punt team come out. Miguel Frias is going to come out. So Saraland bows up right there, Corey, with a 3-and-out.
Huge stop by the Spartans early. That pass was a little too tough for Sullivan, the 6'2", 175-pound senior, to handle. And now we'll see the Spartans have an opportunity for Ryan Williams to come up with an outstanding return here.
Williams on his 40. Frias averages about 32 yards a punt. Low snap. He salvages it. The young man gets it off.
His knee was down.
If his knee is down, he is down right there, Corey. Oh, my goodness. Look at that low snap. So a special teams miscue and Saraland's going to have the ball at the 13-yard line.
And really, his knee was down prior to him punting the football, not actually when he received it. And because of that, though, Saraland setting up in red zone opportunities here. Now, you're not flipping the field right here, Al. Mark that down as a critical play here.
It is, yep.
As Saraland has had a special teams blunder, and now Theodore has as well.
Here's the defense for Theodore. They play a 3-4. Defensive end Travis Bendoff, the Bobcats' third leading tackler on a front that averages 245 pounds. Keep your eyes focused on outside linebacker Navonte Richardson. He leads the team in tackles along with fellow outside linebacker Cam Pruitt. These two will be a force to deal with tonight. In the secondary, cornerback Jordan Casher has 2 picks, and we've already seen the young man, the Southern Miss commit, Will James, come in and make a tremendous impact early. We're going to take a break, an early timeout call by Jeff Kelly and Saraland.
Carolina X is proudly owned by Theodore High graduates. Go Bobcats!
Correction, we're going to stay here, Corey. I heard the timeout music. I thought we were taking a break, but a timeout call by Saraland's Jeff Kelly.
Well, what you're looking at now, though, is Will James on defense. This is a young man, again, who has been leading on the sidelines by example. He hasn't been able to dress out because of his injury,
correct,
but he's been an extra coach on the sidelines for defensive coordinator Randy Larson, and now he's getting in-game action. And, again, now that in red zone opportunities here, let's see if the Spartans can cash in.
Williams goes into motion. We have some movement on the line. Our first penalty of the ball game. Don't know if it's offsides or if it will be a false start. So offsides against the Bobcats. That's going to push Saraland 5 yards closer.
Big Jordan Bolden, the nose guard, 6 foot, 290-pound senior. And again, just a little bit closer now when you start looking at that ball being spotted right at the 8-yard line of the Bobcats.
So it's 1st and 5 from the 8. Saraland needs to get to the 3 to actually pick up a first down. They give it to McWilliams. Look at him scat and move, and he may be close to picking up that first down. Let's see where they spot it at.
Navonte Richardson, the 5'9", 200-pound junior outside linebacker, with his 22nd solo tackle.
2nd and short coming up. Williams just short of the line to gain, which is the 3-yard line. And KJ Lacey trying to draw him off, and I think he may have gotten Bolden with that little snap, almost kind of a motion like, let me see you come, and there it is. So that's going to be half the distance to the goal. That should be enough for the first down. It'll be 1st and goal coming up here for Saraland.
Well, you see the assistant coaches for the Bobcats absolutely going nuts.
Yep.
And not happy at that. Again, you just have to see the snap of the football before you move and don't anticipate by the hand clap gesture.
So it's 1st and goal from the 2. They give it to McWilliams. He hits the hole, being pushed close to the end zone. Let's see, they're going to spot him just short, maybe at the half-foot line.
Well, you're looking at McWilliams Jr., the 5'9", 175-pound sophomore with his 119th rush of the season, trying to get touchdown number 10. But again, the Spartans in outstanding field position because of the miscue on special teams.
The offensive line for Saraland averages 254 pounds, so it's a lot of beef up there. Don't forget, both tackles are 6'3". Official stoppage right here. One of the Theodore players is coming to the side, has his equipment checked out. That's Will James. They're sending him back out now.
And they're going to say he cannot check back into the contest until the next play is run.
Mr. James trying to get in on the action. Our producer says his mouthpiece came out, so definitely equipment. So they're going to send in another cornerback, and I believe we're ready for play as Alan Duhan is pushing for the play clock to be engaged. 2nd and goal. Power I formation. KJ Lacey just keeps it as he is being shoved into the end zone by Baxter Turner, the fullback, and it's a 1-yard touchdown for KJ Lacey.
And that's how you get in the end zone. You get a little help from your big offensive linemen, Ethan Green, Tyler Crenshaw, Bryson Chastain, Brandon Sexton, and Kyron Wilson with that push up front for KJ Lacey. And now KJ Lacey, he starts talking about having his 3rd rushing touchdown of the season.
Hunter Kirkland on for the PAT. He's 44 for 46, and it is blocked. He's now 44 for 47. That could be huge as the extra point is blocked by Theodore. We're going to take a break. Theodore on top, 7-6. Boy, it's getting good real early.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Ayla, hi.
Oh, hi, Sierra. How are you?
Good. How are things?
Things couldn't be better.
What do you mean?
Well, I just started this new job as a school teacher with the Mobile County Public Schools, and it has been a life changer. Great benefits, the hours are great, and great students. Just overall, it's a great opportunity.
Oh, wow, that sounds great. Yeah. I'm going to look into that.
You should.
For more information, visit mcpss.com/job opportunities.
Make sure you mark your calendars coming up on Friday, November the 11th. It will be Veterans Day. All schools and offices are closed as we honor our veterans, those who give service and have given service to us. So for all the veterans in your life, Corey, and those you know, so we want to applaud them for what they do and have done for us. So Friday, November 11th, we're taking off for the school system.
We want to thank the veterans for their services. Here in the end zone, you see the fire truck with the American flag high atop the ladder here at C.A. Douglas Field.
Receiving that ball is Tavares Sullivan. He picks it up about the 3 and brings it up near to the 25. Sullivan averages about 30 yards a return. There's a scoring drive, 3 plays, 13 yards, a minute 25. Capped off by the 1-yard run by KJ Lacey. I'm going to say he had a little help from his fullback, kind of pushing him across the line.
All set up by the special teams blunder by Theodore. And again, you have the blunder by Saraland on the kickoff that was recovered by Theodore. And now you had the knee being down or marked down and a blocked extra point. I said special teams would be magnified. It's the 3rd phase of the game that goes noticed on the scoreboard when something like that blocked extra point happens.
First down for Saraland. Ball's at the 25. They're continuing to run as they go to Braden Jenkins. And that Saraland defense bows up. As a matter of fact, the Spartans play a 3-4 with 6'3" defensive tackle Antonio Coleman coming off the line. He has 15 tackles for loss on the year. Bandit linebacker Jamison Curtis leads the team in tackles, has 2 fumble recoveries and an interception. He'll be helped by Stinger linebacker Cam York. In the secondary, look for free safety Cam Lafitte to be on pick patrol. He has 3 on the year. Saraland averages 247 pounds across their defensive front. It is 2nd down and about 7 here for the Bobcats. Rigby back to throw. It looks as if the pass is complete. Trey Glover hauls it in. He's about a yard or 2 short of the first down, but the Bobcats are in front of the 6.
Great job of rolling the pocket by Rigby. Glover comes away with his 25th reception of the season. The 5'8", 155-pound senior now again brings up money down, 3rd down, and we'll call it a full 1 yard to go.
Ball sits right there on the 34-yard line. Wildcat formation as Braden Jenkins takes the direct snap and goes past the 35 up to the 37. First down for the Bobcats.
That's what you want to do. You want to go ahead and get a fresh set of downs and go ahead and rewrite your offensive script if you're offensive coordinator Kendall Gibson. But this Theodore offense comes in averaging 36.4 points per game, and we mentioned Saraland only giving up 13.6.
Correct.
So again, let's see what defense rises to the occasion first.
Trip receivers to the top. They give it to Jenkins once again. Coach Collier and offensive coordinator for the Bobcats, Kendall Gibson, continuing to run and run clock at the same time as we approach the 3-quarter mark of the first quarter.
He does a tremendous job, Jenkins, that is, being patient and waiting to bounce that to the outside. He didn't press the hole on the inside. He saw that there was daylight on the outside and bounced it on the outside and got additional yardage, 2nd and 1.
Same formation once again for the Bobcats. If it's working, keep going back to it as they continue to do. On that carry, they switch up and bring in Damon Jones-Sullivan. They use him a lot in short yardage situation. He has 3 touchdowns on the year, Corey, from short yardage.
His 21st rush of the season, the 5'10", 190-pound halfback, is a senior again who grounds and pounds, stays low to the ground, plays a linebacker also.
Right.
But I love the fact of his versatility that he will bring to any team at that next level.
So it's the same formation. They're just switching up the players. They can do that by running Jenkins or running Jones-Sullivan, or if they want to bring in Andrew Palmore as well. So it's not a 1-2 punch for Theodore this year. It's a 1-2-3 punch as Jones-Sullivan remains in the game. They give it to him. He breaks it inside the numbers. A flag is thrown by white hat Alan Duhan, and I think that one might be coming back, Corey.
Maybe a false start. A little bit of a head start there by Rashad Earl, maybe. We'll see exactly what this call is by Mr. Duhan.
He has signaled that it is against Theodore, so they're marching it back. And we'll get the exact call right here. So holding against Theodore, that's going to push him back. And boy, Jones-Sullivan had plenty of room as he was headed near the Saraland sideline, close to going out of bounds near the 40. So it's going to be 1st and about 20 coming up here for the Bobcats as they bring Brayton Jenkins back into the ball game. Looking to the sideline to get the call. There's your quarterback, Cam Rigby, 14 touchdowns on the season, 4 interceptions. Play clock is under 10 seconds. And they throw it, connect to his big receiver, Tavares Sullivan. Sullivan gets into the midfield stripe near the 50.
Great job of the swing pass. That's one of the hardest passes to make. Make sure you hit him right in the numbers and don't hit him where he does not and is able to make yards after the catch. But again, 2nd down and close to 15 yards to go for Theodore.
Bobcats offense taking their time. As you said, Corey, earlier, they're averaging 36.4 points on offense. And coming out early, stealing a possession off the first kickoff to get on the board first. Rigby rolls out, has time, dumps it down to Trey Glover. And Glover, instead of the wood being laid, he kind of laid the wood himself as he's forced out of bounds, and flags are all over the field.
He told Edric White, look, I'm in the weight room. I need you to get in the weight room with me.
Right.
White, the cornerback, 5'11", 175-pound junior, was absolutely trucked by Trey Glover, but this is going to be coming back, it looks like, because the execution was there. But I like how Cameron Rigby rolled the pocket and was able to dump it down to the speedster H-back Trey Glover.
Duhan and the crew, they're talking about it. All the Saraland Spartans are pointing this way. There's the block in the back call right there. So that's going to bring out the Boo Birds over here for the Bobcat fans.
Well, we saw 2 deep into penalties against Theodore be costly. Look at the rolling of the pocket, and after he catches it, I'm not quite sure
I didn't see
shot where it was, but at the same time, the Stripes did see it on the field, and it's going to be 2nd down and about 14 yards to go.
So it's kind of somewhat putting Theodore back to where they were. The ball's at the 49-yard line. 2nd and long here. Bobcats taking their time. Play clock under 10 seconds. They do need to get it off. Jenkins just to the left of Rigby. He's going deep, trying to connect with Sullivan. Did Sullivan get his foot down? He brought it in, and it is a completed catch at the 22-yard line.
Sullivan's 4th reception, and now has over 75 yards. And when you start talking about his ability and his versatility, that's huge for this young man. Again, gaining the 1st down for the Bobcats. And what about Rigby? and his great touch that he shows on that pass.
So 1st and 10 for Theodore. They're going to mark it at the 24. Jenkins with the carry as he gets near the 20. Picks up about 3 or 4 second down coming up here for Theodore.
Again, positive yardage of about 3 yards. It'll bring up 2nd down and 7 yards to go. And we'll start talking about now the Theodore Bobcats just being very deliberate here with 2:20 remaining in the first quarter.
They sure are.
To control the line of scrimmage and the tempo.
All sitting squarely on the 20-yard line. Great crowd we have here at C.A. Douglas Field for this #1 versus #3 matchup as Theodore continues to ground and pound and run Jenkins over and over again into that Saraland defensive line.
Well, when you start looking again at the line of scrimmage, this game is definitely going to be won in the trenches. And because of it, is Saraland going to be able to stop this big offensive line from having its way rushing the football? Because you know what's coming.
About 3rd and 3, a high direct snap to Jenkins out of Wildcat. And his forward progress is going to have him short. And the Theodore faithful are upset about it. It's going to be 4th and short right here. Decision time for Coach Collier. Would not surprise me at all for them to go for it. Take a look at the replay.
That's a huge stop by this Spartan defensive line. And now it's 4th down and 1 yard to go. In the trenches, execution is going to be critical.
And the fans want them to go for it. Same formation. Jenkins gets behind that big line. It averages 276 pounds, and that's enough for a 1st down for the Bobcats.
Well, when you start talking about Braden Jenkins, this young man had a spectacular performance on the road against Opelika a few weeks ago where he just rushed for over 4 touchdowns against a stingy Bulldog defense. Kind of his coming out party to let everybody know that he's not scared to bust it between the tackles. He doesn't have to bounce the outside. He'll run it right between his guard and tackle.
1st and 10 from the 12-yard line. They make it to the 2. They can pick up a 1st down. Damon Jones Sullivan comes in to replace Jenkins as he gets past the 10-yard line. The Bobcats inside of the scoring zone look like they're going to mark him at about the 8 or 9.
Jeff Kelly, the head coach of the Saraland Spartans, has been preaching to his team all week long. You know what's coming, guys.
Right.
It's just a matter of can you stop it, and we're going to have a timeout on the field.
The PA announcer did say timeout on the field. Corey, I think Coach Collier is just going to let the quarter come to a close. And at the end of 1, Theodore is on top 7-6 in this battle of Titans.
There's a lot to like about Mobile County Public Schools.
What I enjoy about Mobile County School is the extra attention my teachers give us to help us learn.
Teachers are liking their access to technology, and students are liking the quality of their education.
I like the technology that's been incorporated into my education.
And since 1826, you have trusted us to prepare your child for their future, and we like that. Mobile County Public Schools. We are learning today, leading tomorrow.
High school students, are you looking for a way to become a better leader? Then the Junior Officers Training Corps may be what you're seeking. If you would like to develop self-reliance, learn ways to be more responsible, and improve your communication skills, you can do that and more when you register for the Junior Officers Training Corps. The JROTC program is available to all high school students in Mobile County. JROTC, we build a better you.
Make sure you stick around for halftime. It'll be the Chick-fil-A Halftime Trivia Challenge, where our good friend Kimberly Dunn will go into the stands and select a spectator to ask them a question and, of course, give them multiple choice. That's your favorite, Corey, and see if they can win a Chick-fil-A prize pack. So that'll be coming up at halftime, the Chick-fil-A Halftime Trivia Challenge. And there goes the cow. And I don't want to talk about the cow or being full right now because we have some shout-outs we'll do later on for the great hospitality shown by all the Bobcat fans to us before the ball game tonight. 2nd down coming up for Theodore. as they go up the middle once again, continuing to ground and pound Braden Jenkins. Take a look at the first quarter statistics, Corey. No surprise, the rushing yards right there for Theodore, but one thing they have done, they have contained the passing assault of Theodore, -6, -6.
Well, the biggest thing and how you do that, one turnover on the kickoff is exactly how you keep the dynamic and explosive Saraland Spartan offense off of the field. And because of it, Theodore was able to march down the field and score quickly to start the contest. And they're trying to score here to start the second quarter as well in the red zone now.
Ball is about the 8-yard line. Rigby pass is knocked down at the line of scrimmage by one of the Saraland defenders. Jamison Carter knocks it down. He's the leading tackler. I met his mom in the hospitality tent before the ball game.
The 6'2", 205-pound junior with an outstanding job of pressure up the front. Jamison Curtis doing his job now to bring up a field goal opportunity for Theodore.
Gonna be a 25-yarder for Frias. Coach Collier is comfortable with him from this range. Frias' kick is up, and he nails it 25 yards out. Theodore increases the lead 10-6. That was their 27th play compared to Saraland's 7th play that a statistician, Matt Moore, told me.
3 out of 4 now for field goal opportunities for Frias.
So this is what's up for grabs. As you can see, Saraland and Theodore undefeated in region play, undefeated overall. So whoever wins this ball game tonight, Corey, is going to be the region champ. Theodore has St. Paul's next week, and Saraland was off last week. They had a bye, as a matter of fact. But as you look at the region standings, St. Paul's and McGill still trying to tough it out for that 4th spot.
I just like the fact that you start talking about the confidence of your kicker there. For him to be able to knock down that 25-yarder, that's an added weapon in high school when you do have a phenomenal soccer player as well as a football player meshed into one. And this young man, Frias, when you start looking at him, Coach Collier said, I'm so glad that I've had him around for a while, and I'm glad that he's wearing the Bobcat red and black.
So he just made that his longest of the season. It was 23, with that one being 25. As he kicks off once again, another short one. But Saraland is ready for it as they're going to fair catch it. With that near the 35, I believe so.
And I love the strategy. You're not going to kick it deep to Hollywood Williams and give Ryan Williams an opportunity to return one to the house. And that's just showing respect for the returner. But now we'll see this Saraland offense have to go the distance. This is the furthest they've had to go as far as getting the football the last time with outstanding field position due to the knee being down of the punter. And now we'll see KJ Lacey in action.
Double stack receivers. Lacey throws it across the middle, incomplete, as he tried to get it to his receiver, Brooks Womble, and that pass broken up by the Bobcats defense.
Well, when you start talking about this Theodore Bobcat defense, led by defensive coordinator Randy Larson, only giving up 8.9 points per game. And here it is now with the Spartans at 2nd and 10.
Williams goes into motion on the jet sweep, tried to give it to C.D. Gill on a double reverse, and tackled for a loss by Damon Jones Sullivan.
Damon Jones Sullivan, the inside linebacker, 6 foot, 215-pound senior. We talked about his versatility, and there he is, making his 2nd tackle for loss of the season, his 14th solo also, but again puts Saraland behind the sticks.
Really?
And at a disadvantage.
Ball at the 24-yard line, 3rd and long coming up here for the Spartans. Play clock under 10 seconds. And we have whistles. Possibly a false start. Motioning that way, you can see the thumb of Alan Duhan, so it's coming back a couple yards here.
Bring up 3rd and 26.
So that'll be 3rd and a quarter of the field for the Spartans. I don't know how many plays you have in the playbook for that one if you're Jeff Kelly.
If you're Theodore, you don't want to let anything get behind you, though. You want to go ahead and make sure Will James is on the far sideline playing outstanding defense. Just glad to see him back on the field for the Theodore Bobcats.
Setting up the screen to Sante McWilliams. And the linebackers and the secondary collide on McWilliams. As you said, keep everything in front of you.
Navonte Richardson stays home, and he disrupts that screen because that's how you try to get half of that yardage back to flip the field. The 5'9", 200-pound junior does a phenomenal job of just diagnosing that screenplay and doing his job to help his defense turn to flip the field here for Theodore.
Hunter Kirkland on to punt. Second time tonight, a sideline warning has been issued against Theodore, I believe. That's the first one. As Trey Glover is going to set up near his 37-yard line. Kind of a line drive, and Glover's just going to fair catch it at about the 38. So decent field position coming up here for the Bobcats, as they have pretty much controlled the ball game first quarter and into the second.
10-6 our score here with 9:49 remaining. The Bobcats on top of the #1 ranked Saraland Spartans. And again, this is what high school football is all about. Now, we start off the season with Blunt Viger, a tremendous crowd, and another phenomenal crowd here at C.A. Douglas Field.
Absolutely great. When I say standing room only, I mean it. Near the north end zone outside of the track, folks are lined up at the fence to watch this one. 1st and 10 for the Bobcats. And I believe Coach Collier has called a timeout, his first timeout used here in the first half at the 9:49 mark. Let's check in with Kimberly Dunn on the sideline.
Hey guys, I just wanted to let you know the electricity here tonight is unreal, and it has not stopped from the moment that we started the game and even now in the second quarter. Both crowds are rooting for their teams to come away with the win. We're looking at #1 Saraland and #3 Theodore, but these teams so far that we've seen have been pretty evenly matched, and both of them are wanting to come away with the win, and their crowd is wanting them to come away with a win as well. So we're going to continue to feel that electricity here on the field and here in the stands. I know you guys can feel it up there too.
We sure can, Kimberly. It is absolutely huge with the excitement and electricity in the air tonight.
And Brian Lowell, the athletic director for the Mobile County Public School System, is here as well, and he talked about the phenomenal environment that these student athletes have been provided here.
1st and 10 coming up for Theodore, and they give the quick draw right there to Braden Jenkins, and he does a quick run up to the 45, but a flag on the play as a couple of the Spartans are getting up slow there. And it's going to be coming back against Theodore.
Holding against the interior lineman, and you see the jersey being grabbed and the pads being extended, and that's an easy call for the officials to make right on the top of your television screen.
10 yards and play first down.
But that'll push the Bobcats back. They're going to place it just inside of the 30, about the 27 or 28. So it'll be 1st and long, about 1st and 20 coming up here for Theodore. That's something you don't want to do with your ground game going. You don't want to be going backwards.
They're not scared to run between guard and tackle or right off that center here on 1st and long either.
Running once again with Jenkins, but he is met at the line, wrapped up by big number 95, Antonio Coleman for the Spartans. Picks up a couple, 2nd down coming up for Theodore.
Clint Smith and Antonio Coleman tag teaming on that, and you mentioned now Theodore just needs to value the football and make sure they don't have any turnovers trying to force the football. But so far, Cameron Rigby's done a wonderful job commanding this offense.
Rigby throws, little quick screen they're setting up. for Sullivan, but the Spartans are all over him. That goes back a couple of yards, Corey, maybe about a yard or two loss. Third down and long.
Xavier Crenshaw, the 5'10", 160-pound junior on the stop for the Spartans. He just comes up, and how do you chop or kill a horse? You take his feet out from under him, and you can't go anywhere. So that's a great tackle in the open field by Crenshaw.
Ball sits on the 26-yard line. The line to gain is the 47 of Theodore. Rigby back to throw, trying to go to Sullivan, tosses it up, it's out of bounds. If he had caught it, he would have been out of bounds, so it's going to be fourth down. Punt team runs out on the field for the Bobcats.
Well, what you have to do is just make sure that you put that ball in play. And one of the wide receivers that we have not seen yet for the Bobcats is their 6'5" wide receiver,
That's right.
Cam Johnson, who is committed to play for Vanderbilt Commodores next year. You mentioned earlier he has 9 receptions for 6 touchdowns.
But 6 of them are for touchdowns, Corey, so they're valuable receptions. Where he has his punt is tipped at the line by the Spartans. So Ryan Williams is just going to stay far away from it and tell his fellow Spartans to stay out the way as well. But the ball was tipped at the line. They're going to spot it, looks like, at about the 50-yard line.
Well, you start looking at the Spartans trying to bring one more than the Bobcats can block, and being able to get their pinky finger on it. That's something to take a look at here as the game continues. If Theodore has the punt again, they're going to have to make formation adjustments to make sure the special teams of the Spartans does not get a block punt, or we've already seen one blocked extra point so far.
Saraland comes into the ball game dressing out about 75 to 78 players. They only have 14 seniors on the team. It's a pretty young team, pretty much loaded with sophomores and juniors. Lacey steps back, has plenty of time, connects with C.D. Gill, and just as I say that, C.D. Gill runs it up to about the 6-yard line, maybe the 7-yard line on that reception from the 50 to the 7. Look at the explosiveness of Saraland.
You see C.D. Gill turn on the burners, the 5'9", 150-pound sophomore, part of that sensational sophomore class that Jeff Kelly has, but you see why Lacey likes to go to him.
First and goal, ball on the 8-yard line. They give it to Sante McWilliams, runs to the right as he is pushed out of bounds and forced out of bounds. So one play, Saraland goes from the 50 to the 8. The yards after catch that their receivers, what they can do is unbelievable, Corey.
It really is, whether it is Ryan Williams or C.D. Gill or Jordan Dees, it doesn't matter. But running to that short side of the field, the Bobcats did a great job of getting the tremendous push up front, and now we'll see if they use the wide side of the field with all the green grass over here toward the Theodore boundary.
No gain on the play, 2nd and 8, 2nd and goal really for Saraland. Lacey to throw, right up the middle he goes, and that is a touchdown for the Spartans as he connects with Jordan Dees for an 8-yard grab. Easy pitch and catch.
Jordan Dees with his first touchdown reception of the season. The 6'3", 195-pound junior went uncovered by the secondary, and that was a great read by K.J. Lacey as he now has his 26th passing touchdown of the season.
Hunter Kirkland back out. His first extra point blocked, as you just talked about earlier, Corey. And let's see if Theodore can get that penetration again. Jeff Kelly's not chasing points. He just puts up the extra point and says, all right, let's go back to work. Saraland getting closer. 13-10 is the score.
I have known since I was in 4th grade that I was going to be a teacher. I really just truly enjoy coming to work every day and working with different sets of kids and just watching them grow and learn.
I couldn't see myself doing anything other than teaching children, being a part of children's lives, being able to inspire them in a way that some people just aren't able to do. And to know that every day is a new day, a new opportunity to make a difference in the child's life means everything to me.
on top 13-10 as Hunter Kirkland kicks off and kicks a bullet line drive. Tavares Sullivan fields it at about the 10, brings it back near the Theodore sideline, weaves his way up to about the 47 or 48. Nice return by Tavares Sullivan.
And you start talking about Jamison Curtis on the tackle on special teams, but it definitely puts the Bobcats in outstanding field position.
There it is, Jordan D's 6-yard touchdown reception. 3 plays, 50 yards, 2 minutes and 34 seconds. So I guess Jeff Kelly does have something in the playbook, Corey, if it's 3rd and 35 or 1st and 10, rather, if you want to call it.
C.D. Gill was the big-time wide receiver on that drive. Yards after catch, you mentioned it. Now Theodore has an opportunity to answer offensively.
As they hand off to Braden Jenkins as he goes up the middle and busts it up to the 20-15 near the 10-yard line. The great dynamic running of Braden Jenkins for the Bobcats.
Braylon with the burst, folks. And you better remember that name because this young man is special for Eric Collier's Theodore Bobcats. I mentioned that he had 4 or 5 rushing touchdowns against Opelika. Bust another big play, and that's the type of explosive play that we saw by C.D. Gill, and now we see by Braden Jenkins here in the red zone area or Theodore.
1st and goal, the ball on the 10-yard line exactly. They go back to Jenkins once again. As Saraland just holding on, his forward progress stopped at about the 7 or 8.
Chris Thompson with the stop coming up from his linebacker position. And again, Theodore in the red zone area has been able to score a touchdown and a field goal. We'll see if they won't settle for 3 right here as they did on the last drive.
Ball sitting at the 8-yard line, 2nd and goal. Corey, we were down on the field earlier taking a look at it. The turf seems to be in pretty good shape. I guess this lack of rain recently really hasn't hampered the surface. Jenkins in right here out of the Wildcat. They're going with a direct snap. They fake it to Sullivan on the jet sweep. Up the middle goes Jenkins. Look at him, Corey, as you say, keeps the legs plowing as he hits pay dirt for an 8-yard score.
Bobcats with the burst. And you see Braden Jenkins, after the long run, cap it off from his quarterback/running back position. And now this young man has 20 rushing touchdowns on the season.
His 2nd score tonight as Miguel Frias is on for the extra point. Long snapper is Chase Williams for the Bobcats. Kick is up, and Frias puts that one near the field house. Boy, he really put his foot into it. As Theodore now regains the lead, 17-13. When I say it's exciting, oh, we're just getting started. It's the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week.
If you're looking for fun, fashionable, and affordable jewelry, it's here. It's Paparazzi. We have a variety of colors and styles of bracelets, rings, necklaces, and earrings for all occasions and for every event. New styles are added daily, which means you are always up to date with the latest fashion. For that genuine bling, join me, Charmaine Watson, the real jewelry lady, on Facebook Live Sunday through Thursday at 7 p.m. It's cute, it's fun, it's fashion, it's $5, it's Paparazzi.
We welcome you back to C.A. Douglas Field. Al Wheaton, Corley Bounty on the sidelines, Kimberly Dunn, statisticians China Powell and Matt Moore. And we are having an electrifying contest, scoring back and forth, running back and forth, passing back and forth. Theodore's on top 17-13. Let's see what Frias is going to do with this kickoff as they continue to kick away from the triplets in the back. But this one is hauled in by Sante McWilliams as he brings it up near the 50-yard line. Great return by McWilliams. He averages 21.2. There's a scoring drive. Braden Jenkins on the 8-yard touchdown run. 3 plays, 53 yards, a minute 44. But I think Coach Collier might say, Frias, don't kick it over there anymore.
No, you definitely don't want to kick it to Williams or McWilliams.
Yeah.
So you can pick which one, whether you want the Mick or whether you want the Williams. But either way it goes, both of these young returners are explosive.
Look at McWilliams go. So great field position coming up here for Saraland. Ball sitting at the 47-yard line, directly in front of us here near the press box at C.A. Douglas Field. Lacey zips it into Ryan Williams, a bit behind Williams. If he had led him, he could have brought it in.
And one thing we notice about K.J. Lacey, as 1 year ago he was playing for the Daphne Trojans, he has somewhat of a sidearm release.
Right.
And because of that one, was not able to lead his wide receiver, Ryan Williams. But I guarantee 9 times out of 10, K.J. Lacey is going to make that throw and catch his wide receivers in stride.
Trip receivers to the bottom. C.D. Gill in the slot as they take it up the middle with McWilliams. He crosses the midfield stripe to pick up about 4 or 5. So it'll be third and about, we'll call it a long 5, maybe 6 coming up here for the Spartans, just on the other side of the 50. Balls at the 49.
McWilliams Jr., 5'9", 175-pound sophomore. Again, you're not going to be able to tackle him high. You're going to have to go low on him or he's going to get plenty of yards after contact.
And the Bobcat faithful are chanting defense, defense. That ball is tipped, but it does get to Ryan Williams. Look at him elude. Will James cuts back in the middle inside of the hash, and the turf monster catches him at about the 20-yard line, Corey.
We mentioned yards after catch.
That's right.
The yak yardage. Look at Ryan Williams. He makes 1 defender, 2 defenders, close to 3 Theodore defenders miss. And then again, the turf at C.A. Douglas Field. As the temperature continues to drop, the field and the dew get a little slippery, and you can see him go ahead and fall to the grass because of his inability to plant the feet without go ahead and slipping because of the grass and the dew that's on the field.
Spartans knocking on the red zone. Ball's at the 20. There's that side-on delivery of Lacey as he goes back to Ryan Williams as he is tackled on the far side near the Saraland bench for about a 6 or 7 yard gain. Second down and short coming up for the Spartans as they are in front of the sticks and approaching the scoring zone near the 10.
Well, back and forth. We knew that both of these teams offensively were explosive, and it's up for these defenses. Who can stop who, Al, here in the first half?
Second and about 3 coming up here for the Spartans as we have about a quarter of the quarter remaining time-wise. Lacey tips it up, and look at Williams stretches out. Touchdown, Ryan Williams from K.J. Lacey. I have got to see the replay on that to see the footwork.
That is Will James on Ryan Williams. 2 of the best athletes on the field for both teams. That's the one-on-one matchup you wanted to see. The stop and go by Ryan Williams shows his ability and why he's going to the University of Alabama committing-wise in 2 years. Tremendous footwork. He looked like a ballerina.
He caught Will James looking in the backfield and did the move and juke and went right to the corner of the end zone, and Lacey hit him. 20-17. We are back and forth. Don't move. I guarantee you more action's coming up. It's the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week.
If you look at the numbers, Mobile County Public Schools is making great strides. With more than 53,000 students, 7,000 employees, and 90 schools, we are consistently increasing our 4-year graduation rate and our first-class pre-K program. We continue to strive for national recognition and continue to prepare our students for the global workforce. And we do all of this with one goal in mind, to equip and empower college and career-ready graduates. Mobile County Public Schools. We're learning today, leading tomorrow.
High School Football Game of the Week. There's a scoring drive. Ryan Williams, a 12-yard reception, 5 plays, 53 yards, 2 minutes, Corey. Oh, my goodness.
They call him Hollywood, lights, camera, and action.
That's right.
On that productive catch by Williams in the corner of the end zone.
Hunter Kirkland kicks it off. Bringing it back is Trey Glover for the Bobcats as he gets up to the 30-yard line. If we're able to get that replay up, if Charles could get it, I would love to see that touchdown grab. That was the unbelievable footwork as Will James was looking in the backfield, and Williams just twisted and turned on him. Watch Williams right here. Whoop.
Stop and go.
Gone.
And look at the footwork to get both of his feet in. That's a
not
NFL
one but two.
Catch.
That's right. That's right. That was big time right there.
Stretches out, high points the football, and comes away with an outstanding catch in the corner of the end zone.
I'm sure Mr. James will not forget that.
No, absolutely.
Later
you put
on,
that behind you.
He will not forget
You
that.
play the next play, but it's elite on elite, and that's all you can ask for from that situation. Now, Theodore had great success going to their back. Again, we'll see if they go back to the running back and their running game.
As they do, up the middle goes Braden Jenkins, but he is met right at the line. Going to take a loss of about 1.5 yards. 2nd and 12 coming up for Theodore.
Isaiah Bowie with the stop, 6'2", 195-pound, you guessed it, sophomore.
Yep.
As again, this is a sensational sophomore class for Jeff Kelly, who really have arrived a year earlier than what was expected, not only by the media, but by a lot of Saraland faithful as well.
The Saraland crowd is riled up right now. Trip receivers to the bottom, but they continue to run as Jenkins goes for maybe 1 or 2 just past the original line of scrimmage. And the Spartans fans are erupting. It's 3rd down coming up here, 3rd and long for Theodore.
Jimmy Bird, 6'2", 225-pound senior defensive lineman with the tackle on the play. And now Theodore has to decide whether they're going to go ahead on that far sideline, continue to run to the short side of the field, or whether, I tell you, Braden Jenkins, if he gets to that secondary, to the linebackers, he's going to get a 1st down.
The yard to get is the 40-yard line to pick up the 1st down. Rigby back to throw. Across the middle it goes. It is tipped. Looks as if one of the Spartans thought they had an interception, but the pass is incomplete.
Marquez Timmons was on top of that football. Not sure if he caught a tip pass and came down with it or not.
And he can't do that because he's not eligible. He's a lineman, Corey. I think the ball was tipped myself.
And that's what the officials are going to talk about. If the ball is tipped, Timmons can go ahead.
But if it's tipped, he can go after it.
And catch it, correct. And we'll see exactly what the call was, whether it was a catch and then a fumble by Tim. Let's take a look to see if 70 is able to catch this off of the tip. It was intercepted, then fumbled.
That's what it was.
That's what it was. The ball was intercepted by Bowie.
So we did have a change of possession, and Bowie lost it. So it is 1st down at the 30-yard line. Wow.
So a turnover for Theodore, and then a turnover for Saraland.
That's correct.
So that's something you don't see every day. Bang, bang, real quick in real time.
Bowie lost it. They get it out to Sullivan. He goes nowhere, maybe a 1/2 yard on the reception. 2nd down and about 9 coming up for the Bobcats. We have seen a lot so far in this ball game tonight. Special teams miscues, mental miscues at the same time, Corey.
Well, that's something you don't see every day. You see an interception thrown, and then you see a fumble, then you see a fumble recovery, all on the same play. And now because of it, again, 2nd down and 9 yards to go for Theodore.
Trip receivers to the bottom. They hand off to Jenkins once again. He plows forward. Nice gain of about 7 yards. It's going to be 3rd and short coming up for the Bobcats. We'll call it maybe 3rd and 3 here for Theodore.
And with our score here, the clock is running down with 30 seconds remaining. Saraland leading 20-17 as we are approaching halftime very quickly.
Remember, Theodore is going to receive the 2nd half kickoff. Coach Collier has 2 timeouts. I'm surprised he hasn't called one to at least try to set up some type of Hail Mary or something. But he's just going to let it run out because the play clock, I think he's going to call a timeout probably with 2 seconds left, Corey. It's about a 2-second differential. And Coach Collier just lets the clock run out. So Saraland on top 20-17, a very exciting first half.
We knew it was going to be an exciting half of football, and we've got exactly what this paying crowd was asking for, 5,500 plus here at C.A. Douglas Field here at Theodore, Alabama. Number 1 ranked Saraland leads by 3 over the number 3 ranked Theodore Bobcats, and the second half of action now, I know is not going to disappoint.
It will not. 5,500 plus, as we see it, standing room only here at C.A. Douglas Field. Corey, we've seen it all. We've seen a blocked extra point. We've seen an interception, fumble recovery. We've seen a pooch kickoff picked up by Theodore for an easy score. We've kind of seen it all tonight.
We really have, and that's just in the first half of action, and we've seen 2 explosive offenses go toe-to-toe. We've seen Saraland be able to establish the run and the pass to be a little bit balanced, but they've been able to do that in the second quarter. So they've made adjustments that they've needed to make. Theodore, we know what they're going to do. They're going to run the football and run the football some more.
And they've done that continuously.
And are going to continue to do that. So we'll see here with them getting the football, the first possession will set the tone to me in the second half.
It really will. Theodore's going to get the ball back. They stole that early possession with the little pooch kick and went up early 7-0. Thinking back on the first quarter stats, Saraland had -6 passing yards and 6 rushing yards. So everything they've done has pretty much been in this past second quarter.
Well, C.D. Gill got them in gear with that nice little pass that he had on the far sidelines, and that erupted the offense, and then that led to a Ryan Williams type of score that was outstanding catch. We're going to have a great second half of action. You don't want to miss this one, folks.
It is headed your way. Halftime's coming up. Saraland's on top right now, 20-17.
A teacher is one of the biggest investors in a community.
They impact the lives of those we value the most.
Teachers share knowledge which helps shape and mold our future leaders.
Teachers show direction and help build a sense of purpose. Are you ready to make a change? For more information on teaching opportunities, teacher incentives, or to apply with the Mobile County Public Schools, log on to www.mcpss.com.
You've got questions? We got answers. MCPSS.com. Whether it's attendance zones, school calendar, lunch menus, or registration information that you are looking for, you can find it right here. MCPSS.com. You can also get the latest news and district-wide calendar information, and it's just a click away. So when you need to know, and you need to know right now, check us out. MCPSS.com.
Parents, if you have a child who will be 4 years of age on or before September 1st, 2023, then mark your calendar to register for the Mobile County Public Schools First Class Pre-K program. Online registration for the 2023-24 school year opens January 15th, so don't miss this opportunity. Log on to MCPSS.com for more information and a complete listing of pre-K sites, screening, and selection info. First Class Pre-K registration, January 15th. Save the date.
It is halftime here at C.A. Douglas Field. Saraland's on top 20-17, an explosive first half. And second half action will be coming up soon. Right now, we got to check in to the MCPSS Athletic Studio and our buddy Mike Herndon and see what's been going on with MCPSS Athletics.
Thanks, guys. It's time for another Mobile County Public Schools sports update. As many of you may have seen last night on MCPSSTV, Scarborough scored with 1 second left for a 6-0 victory over Burns in the Middle School County Football Championship. If you missed it, you can still watch the game in its entirety on the MCPSS YouTube page. Congratulations to the Knights. 3 high school volleyball teams in the district advanced to the South Regional this week in Montgomery. Unfortunately, all 3 were eliminated, but congratulations to Baker, Murphy, and Citronelle on an excellent season. In cross country, runners from Baker and Mary G. Montgomery competed in the 59th annual McGill-Tulin Relays at Langen Park. Baker's Jaden Koger won Flight 1 of the girls' 2-mile run with a time of 12:30:41. Janae Jackson and Abby Catlett of Baker placed 9th and 11th, respectively, out of 59 runners in the girls' 5K run, while Mary Montgomery's Krista Slezak was 14th. On the boys' side, Baker's Connor Trammell was 14th in the 5K. Next up is a sectional meet on Thursday. Swimmers from Baker and Davidson competed in a meet in Fairhope this week. Top finishers were Davidson's Sally Herndon, who was second in the girls' 100 butterfly, and Baker's Andon Elsie, who was third in the 100 fly and the 50 freestyle. Baker's Landon Lyles was fourth in the 500 free, and Elise Jenkins was fifth in the 50 freestyle. Sectionals will be next month at Bishop State Community College. That's your sports update for this week. Back to you, Alan Corey.
Thank you, Mike. We do appreciate that. And here are the highlights from yesterday, the MCPSS Middle School Football Championship. As we found out, Scarborough on top as they win 6-0 over Burns. That is back-to-back championships for the Knights. And Corey, our very own statistician, Matt Moore, did play-by-play along with MGM quarterback coach Kurt Page. They did a fine job on the call yesterday.
No question about it, and it came down almost like you said, Al. The first team to score was going to be the team to win the game. And
as Keith Turner III there.
Shout out to our brother Keith Turner, who always supports young people and their causes. But congratulations to China. And I know her being the school's athletic director was very, very happy and proud of her young student athletes. And
I saw her on the sideline over there jumping up and down.
Back-to-back champions now.
We're going to take a break and come back with the Chick-fil-A Halftime Trivia Challenge. You're watching the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week.
As a student in the Mobile County Public Schools, there are a few things I've come to expect. One is a quality education, and the other is a quality lunch. Not only are our school meals well-balanced, meeting all federal nutritional standards, but they also have less fat, fewer calories, and they taste really good. Oh, and I forgot to mention, our school lunches contain whole wheat, grains, fruits, and vegetables to give me the energy and brain power to get me through the day.
If you look at the numbers, Mobile County Public Schools is making great strides. With more than 53,000 students, 7,000 employees, and 90 schools, we are consistently increasing our four-year graduation rate and our first-class pre-K program. We continue to strive for national recognition and continue to prepare our students for the global workforce. And we do all of this with one goal in mind, to equip and empower college and career-ready graduates. Mobile County Public Schools. We're learning today, leading tomorrow.
We appreciate you joining us for the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week. It's now time for the Chick-fil-A Halftime Trivia Challenge. Let's take it down to Kimberly Dunn.
Guest with me with the Theodore Bobcats, one of their cheerleaders that's been cheering us on all night. Can you tell us your name and what grade you're in?
Jakyla, and I'm in the 9th grade.
Awesome. So this is your first, big football game?
Yes.
So what do you think about it? What's the atmosphere like? What does it feel like being on the sidelines cheering on your team?
It's fun. It's just really crowded, so it's a little scary.
But you're hanging in there. Y'all are doing a great job. So if you were to tell someone else that might be a cheerleader next year, give them some encouragement, what would you tell them?
Come out here and have fun. You have a lot of fans here, so just do what you need to do.
I love it. I love it. So are you ready for our trivia question?
Yes.
Okay. Here we go. It says one calendar year has 365 days, which is equal to 525,600 minutes. How many weeks are in a year? Is it A, 12, B, 24, C, 52, or D, 75? What do you think the answer is?
C.
You're right. Look, I told you you would do a great job. She was so worried that she would get it wrong. There you go. You have won our Chick-fil-A prize pack with some Chick-fil-A goodies in there, as well as some Mobile County stuff. Congratulations on the win, and good luck to you and your team tonight.
Thank you.
You always got to wave by, Corey. It's very important to wave by to the camera. So congratulations to the young lady. What a dynamic first half we have had for this ball game. It's basically kind of came out to what we expected it was going to be.
Well, 20-17 is our halftime score. The number one team in the state in 6A is number one for a reason.
Right.
And they were down early, but they were not out because this game was far from over. They just needed to settle down and adjust and make the adjustments trying to stop the Theodore running game. And again, they haven't necessarily been able to stop it, nor really slow it down.
Correct.
But that potent offense, instead of kicking field goals, has been able to score touchdowns. And that's the difference in the contest so far.
It truly has. It started off with Theodore coming out with a pooch kick, and then they just started grounding and pounding. Braden Jenkins started us off with an 11-yard TD run early in the first quarter. And there's a look at that early kick that happened that was recovered by Theodore. That was so huge and got the scoring started. And there's Braden Jenkins going in for the score. A direct snap direct to him, Corey.
And again, this young man has 2 touchdowns in the first half. Probably has over 100 rushing yards combined. But you start talking about the missed extra point was huge for the Spartans.
That was KJ Lacey going in, and that right there was a big throw to Tavares Sullivan. That was huge for Theodore as it got them into a situation that gave us a 25-yard field goal for Miguel Frias, now his longest of the year. And here is KJ Lacey once again in action, passing to Jordan Dees. That was a 6-yard touchdown, his first touchdown on the season.
Underneath, great job of reading that route, and Theodore is able to answer right back with an explosive run by Brady.
8-yard run by Braden Jenkins, set up by this play right here as Theodore continues, as you talked about it, Corey, running the ball. That is Eric Collier's MO. He's going to run it, another direct snap, and that's Jenkins' second touchdown. That came in the second quarter. But guess what? Wait, the scoring was not over. Watch this play right here, the pass from KJ Lacey, the hitch and go, and the footwork by Hollywood Williams.
Again, lights, camera, action.
Wow.
For Hollywood Williams. And an interception on one play, a fumble on one play, and a fumble recovery. All in the same possession, the same play. That's something you don't see every day. But, again, we've had things that you normally don't see in a high school football game that's going to lead to a tremendous finish here at C.A. Douglas Field.
It sure is. Make sure you stick with us. We're going to take a break, and later on we'll come back and bring you first half statistics and take a look at the Theodore Marching Band as well. You're watching the MCPSS High School Football Game of the Week.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Ayla, hi.
Oh, hi, Sierra. How are you?
Good. How are things?
Things couldn't be better.
What do you mean?
Well, I just started this new job as a school teacher with the Mobile County Public Schools, and it has been a life changer. Great benefits, the hours are great, and great students. Just overall, it's a great opportunity.
Oh, wow, that sounds great. Yeah. I'm going to look into that.
You should.
For more information, visit mcpss.com/job opportunities.
Hello, I'm Katrina Frazier.
And I'm Deborah Robinson, and we would like to be your next realtors. As homeowners, we know how confusing it can be searching to find that perfect home that fits your needs and budget.
For that reason, it's important to have a reliable partner to represent you and to be there for every step of your home buying process. You'll find the services offered through Berkshire Hathaway, Home Services Cooper & Company Realtors are second to none.
So whether you are buying or selling your home, call us today and let our experience work for you.
If you're looking for fun, fashionable, and affordable jewelry, it's here. It's Paparazzi. We have a variety of colors and styles of bracelets, rings, necklaces, and earrings for all occasions and for every event. New styles are added daily, which means you are always up to date with the latest fashion. For that genuine bling, join me, Charmaine Watson, the real jewelry lady, on Facebook Live Sunday through Thursday at 7 p.m. It's cute, it's fun, it's fashion, it's $5, it's Paparazzi.
Parents, if you have a child who will be 4 years of age on or before September 1st, 2023, then mark your calendar to register for the Mobile County Public Schools First Class Pre-K program. Online registration for the 2023-24 school year opens January 15th, so don't miss this opportunity. Log on to MCPSS.com for more information and a complete listing of pre-K sites, screening, and selection info. First Class Pre-K registration, January 15th. Save the date.
At Mobile County Public Schools, we believe it starts with us. That's why we offer Signature Academies.
Hello, I'm Jordan Clark, and I'm in the Health Service Academy at John L. LaFleur Magnet High School. My future career is to be an obstetrician-gynecologist. With this academy, I'm learning firsthand from people already working in the industry. Shadowing them on the job really makes me want to study hard and work harder towards my career goal.
Signature Academies are open to all students in Mobile County Public High Schools. Visit MCPSS.com.
We take you down to the field here at C.H. Douglas Stadium to enjoy the sounds of the Theodore High School Marching Bobcat Band. great sounds of the Theodore High School Marching Bobcat Band. Corey, I heard some new addition up in there. Walking around on broken glass. They did a good job.
No question about it. These bands, they practice all summer long for this high school field performance and do a phenomenal job. Both schools really impressed us at halftime.
And speaking of a phenomenal job, both of these teams have impressed us. Let's take a look at what they have done statistically. Here are our first quarter and second quarter stats here at halftime. And look at there, Corey. It is -1 yard for Saraland right now. For Saraland and rushing.
Rushing the football, nothing new for Theodore. 122 yards, 41 yards passing, 163 total. Only 92 total yards, but they are winning the game, the Spartans, that is. 1 turnover apiece. 5 penalties for 37 yards is the difference in the first half, allowing Saraland to get in great field position.
All right, this team is down by 3 points. Kimberly Dunn has Coach Eric Collier of the Theodore Bobcats.
Coach Collier, what was the atmosphere like in the locker room with your team?
It's just about, us fixing us. We had a couple holding calls, lined up wrong one time defensively, and they took advantage of that. So big thing is this is, they hadn't hurt us. We've hurt ourselves. If we can go in there and we can fix a couple things on our end, we'll be fine. It's a great ball game, great atmosphere, but, you can't have holding penalties. That kills drives. So if we can clean that up and we lined up wrong one time on defense and they found it. So other than that, it's a great ball game.
Do you feel like your team is going to be able to stay motivated in order to win this ball game?
Oh, yeah. We're a second-half team, been a second-half team all year long, so we're looking forward to it. We're running the football on them. We're going to continue to do that. And, they'll eventually wear down or it'll be over.
All right. Thank you so much, Coach. I'll let you go with your team.
Thank you, Kimberly. That is something we know about Theodore being a second-half team. But, Corey, the atmosphere, the excitement is 20-17, but it almost feels like the score could be 37-20 or something.
Offensive shootout is probably what we're heading for. We talked about the defense of making a stance first. What defense is able to come out in the second half and get the stop? Because we know that Saraland averages over 43 points a game.
Right.
On the flip side of that, you're talking about the Theodore Bobcats averaging 34 points a game. So the defenses are going to make the difference, but we know what Theodore wants to do to start here in the second half. They're going to receive this football. They talked about coming out, being able to dominate the line of scrimmage, and we'll see if they're able to do that here on their first offensive possession.
Let's revisit your checklist. Saraland is the visiting team, and you talked about some of the things they needed to do in the ball game.
They had to stop the run, and again, 122 yards in the first half for Theodore. Right. It's not really stopping it or slowing it down, but you're leading on the scoreboard. Be balanced. They needed to be able to throw the football as well as run the football. Have not been able to do that, as evidenced as the statistics we just saw. Handle the atmosphere. Early, they had the turnover, got hit in the mouth, were down 7-0, but have found their way here as the game has gone along. And for the Theodore Bobcats, they needed to pressure the pocket, not allow KJ Lacey to get comfortable and be able to pick them apart, and they had to pound the pigskin. We see that they've been able to do that here in the first half.
Right.
Theodore takeaways. We've seen a couple of takeaways by both of these teams. Again, we saw an interception, a fumble, and a fumble recovery all in one play here in the first half. But again, will they be able to steal a possession in the second half? Because special teams and turnovers are going to be the difference in the second half.
It sure is. It is going to be that way. And we are excited to be here at C.A. Douglas Field bringing you this ball game. I'm going to say, Corey, probably our first ever top 5 matchup with Saraland being number 1 and Theodore being number 3. And with it being a top 5 matchup, we got to give a shout out to the crew who took care of us before the ball game down in the hospitality tent, man. It was some great eating down there, Corey.
Bayou Seafood did a tremendous job of feeding the faithful here. Big shout out to John Big Cotton Harbison from Bayou Seafood taking care of us, along with the PA announcer who's also over the Booster Club, Mark Walter. You'll hear his voice as it's in our ear right now, and he does a phenomenal job here at Theodore High School. We want to thank them for their great hospitality, not only to us, but our crew as well.
Oh, yeah, everyone was having a good time, and I even saw the Fox 10 folks and some of the other crews there hanging out as well. So there's a look at Coach Kane Womack of South Alabama. Him and some coaches here. And, Corey, I saw some Troy University coaches here as well. They know the importance of this ball game as they're basically kind of taking a look at some of the futures, possibly some folks they want to take to their universities.
The media has been phenomenal here on the sidelines as far as hot written media, you're talking about print media, television media. Second half underway, Al.
Trey Glover fills it at about the 9-yard line, cuts up near the 20. He's at the numbers. Great return by Glover up to the 35, as we're going to have Theodore Bobcats coming on to the field. Thank Firehouse Subs. Enjoy more subs, save more lives. A portion of subs purchased at Firehouse will go to the Firehouse Subs Public Safety Foundation. So make sure you visit our friends Jim and Susie Sherman at the Greenlight Road location of Firehouse Subs. Also, BSN Sports, got to thank them for sponsoring us with our apparel. If you need some apparel, if your team is basketball or cross country, they got you covered. Visit them online at bsnsports.com. 1st and 10 for the Bobcats, and they give it to Braden Jenkins, who gets near the 40-yard line. That's about a 5-yard pickup. 2nd and 5 coming up for Theodore.
Antonio Coleman on the stop for the Saraland defense, but it's no question what Theodore wants to do and how they want to go ahead and secure their will here on this Spartan defense to start the second half of action.
Ball sitting at the 41-yard line. 2nd down and about 6. As they go back to Jenkins once again. That offensive line is pushing him forward. Picks up about 2 or 3. It'll be 3rd and short for the Bobcats, still in front of the stick score.
Very rarely do you see Braden Jenkins fall backwards, and whether it's help from the defensive line, offensive line, as we take a look at Shadrick Tootle.
Tootle Boy Sports in the house.
Sporting the nice Theodore jacket there, and again, a short yardage situation upcoming here for Theodore, and controlling the line of scrimmage is what they go ahead and patent themselves in the weight room every single day for this opportunity.
The line again is the 46. We've seen that direct Wildcat snap a few times tonight, and Saraland is saying, no, 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 you are short. I believe no gain possibly on the play. Official on the far side, Anthony Garrett, he's right at the 49 between the 44 and the 45.
I think he fell forward with the football, but Cameron York, the 5'11", 195-pound junior, did a good job fitting the gap there, and it's going to be a little bit short inches.
Yeah.
Game of inches is life, as well as this football game here in the 3rd quarter.
Early timeout by Coach Eric Collier, 10:03. He wants to discuss it. As you look at the scores, go across the bottom on the ticker. Gulf Shores on top of Viga right there. You saw Baker on top of Fairhope. Davidson over Bryant. Citronelle over the floor at the half. As the Bobcats are going to discuss this one right here. Crucial play, critical play. The Wildcat didn't work right there. They picked up maybe half of it. But, Corey, I'm going to say they're about a half a yard short right now.
Well, again, when you need just 1 yard and you pride yourself on pounding the football, I mentioned there just moments ago, can Saraland stop the run? Can they handle this atmosphere? Well, we'll know this crowd will have something to cheer about if Theodore is able to pick up this first down. But if they're not able to pick up this first down, you'll see the Spartan momentum and the crowd that's standing room only on the far sidelines really get into this contest.
So after the timeout coming onto the field, there is Cam Rigby. Tavar Sullivan at the top with Braden Jenkins just to the left of Rigby. Shift in motion. They're going under pro style, under center. Look for the quarterback sneak. There it is, Rigby with the push from Jenkins. In some kind of way, Corey, I don't know how, but Rigby got through. He must have went back to the bottom of the pile and wormed his way through.
It's about a second effort, and the officials didn't blow it dead and allowed him to continue to try to churn it out. But let's look, as we get a tight look, he's going to pop out and squirt out
there
right at the bottom. And the Bobcats are able to pick it up.
So it is a first down for Theodore, places the ball at the 46-yard line.
Al Whedon, this is a tremendous high school football atmosphere as Theodore quickly gets back on top of the football.
And we have some movement on the line. Going to be against the Spartans as they jump early across the line. Offside, so that's a free 5 yards for Theodore. Puts the ball at the 49-yard line of Saraland. 1st and 5 coming up here for Theodore.
Well, it's very important here for the Spartans to stay disciplined, as you know the run is coming. Can you stop Braden Jenkins in this offensive line push?
Rigby just going to keep it, and he should have enough. He should be right at the stick to pick up the first down. And I believe there's the signal coming in from Alan Duhan. First down for the Bobcats. Now the ball sits at the 44 on that quarterback keeper from Cam Rigby.
I tell you what, that's a huge first down, because you're able to go ahead, keep the clock running here with 9 minutes remaining in the third. You're keeping the Saraland defense on the field. You're continuing the confidence without committing any penalties.
Trip receivers to the bottom of the screen. Jenkins on the carry, picks up 1 or 2. He stopped right near the line of scrimmage by Antonio Coleman. Second down and long will be coming up here for Theodore, as they are just taking their time. Down 3 points here in the third quarter. An explosive second quarter that we had. 4 scores between the two teams, 3 touchdowns and 1 field goal. Theodore takes their time.
And Coach Collier told Kimberly Dunn he wants to wear this Spartan defense out.
Right. They go back to Jenkins once again. Great blocking up front, as Jenkins is tackled right at the 40-yard line. Third and about 5 or 6 coming up here for the Bobcats.
And we've seen a third down early. As you look at Jenkins trying to get his gloves adjusted. Great job by Gully, the Rover safety, 6'1", 180-pound junior, with the stop.
Shot of Eric Collier right there. Head coach for the Theodore Bobcats. In his 10th year, Theodore has a 60-40 record and an overall career record of 70-7 for a 500 winning percentage. Look, quick pass out to Tavares Sullivan, and that is enough for a first down, as he is thrown out of bounds near the 32, 33-yard line.
Great job of picking up the blitz. Look at Braden Jenkins. Stopped the inside linebacker, and it almost knocked away by Jimmy Bird, or intercepted right through his big mitts. Theodore quickly going tempo.
First and 10, ball on the 32, back to Jenkins. Jenkins goes ahead inside of the 30. Takes it to about the 28 or 29-yard line, but we have a flag on the play.
And that's something that Theodore has not had as we started the second half, but we do on this particular play.
Coach Collier talked with Kimberly about that. We need to clean it up. They had too many penalties in the first half. So false start, that's going to be 5 yards to push the Bobcats back.
And it's really the first negative situation here in the second half, as this drive has been all clean. But let's see if Cameron Rigby continues to fake the throw after he hands it off to Jenkins. And that's something to keep an eye on, because sometimes you get caught peeking at Rigby and he all of a sudden goes ahead and hits you for a long one.
First and 15, balls on the 37-yard line of Saraland. Ball tipped at the line of scrimmage by Isaiah Bowie. Second down and 15 coming up.
Bowie, he had that interception as well as that fumble all in one play from his outside linebacker position. This young sophomore has been very active defensively for defensive coordinator Brett West. In this 3-4 defense, he's just reading the eyes of the quarterback Cameron Rigby. And now that you're behind the sticks here at second down and close to 15 yards to go, we'll see how the Bobcats react.
They go to Jenkins, and Jenkins is tackled immediately right at the line of scrimmage, Core.
Jamison Curtis shot the gap. The 6'2", 205 junior was able to jump on the back of Braden Jenkins, and because of it, he is also getting some assistance up after the play. And I don't know if it's a cramp, because he really did extend himself to try to make that tackle.
Take a look at our player comparison for tonight for the two players we're keeping our eye on. Quarterback comparison between KJ Lacey and Cam Rigby. So far, And we saw Lacey do a lot of that in the second quarter, Corey. 8 for 9 for 97 yards. Not too many throws for Rigby so far tonight. 4 for 7 for 4 yards, 1 interception.
And just doesn't have to. Again, he's at the line of scrimmage. He has to throw it long distance now. 3rd and 16 for the Bobcats, but doesn't want to throw this interception.
This is definitely a throwing situation here for the Bobcats. Trying to do a little hitch and go with Tavares Sullivan. Sullivan is bumped. No flag on the play, but you could kind of see where he was bumped. I don't know if the ball was too high, uncatchable, but no flags come out.
Well, in that situation, you knew it was a passing down, and because of it, Theodore was not able to complete it. Saraland did a good job staying home and causing the Theodore Bobcats drive to stall. Now, that was close to a 6-minute drive, Al, open up the second half of action, and now we'll see if this Theodore defense can tighten up and make a huge play on special teams.
Miguel Frias's punt to Ryan Williams. And it's going to go out of bounds at about the 10-yard line. So Saraland will get their first touch at the 5:53 mark as Theodore basically used up half of the quarter right there with that first possession.
Well, we know that this Saraland offense is very explosive, and because of this longevity, not putting any points on the board is something that Theodore wanted and talked about at halftime being able to do. Now, how will Jeff Kelly, the offensive coordinator and head coach, come out? Will it be with Ryan Williams? Will it be with KJ Lacey throwing it to C.D. Gill and also getting Sante McWilliams Jr. involved as they are pinned deep in their own territory?
Setting up the screen for Sante McWilliams. That pass is incomplete. 2nd and 10 coming up for the Spartans.
Well, here we are. A good job of the defensive line staying home for Theodore, and that's Travis Bendolph with pressure. That's what you have to do, pressure the pocket. That's one of the keys to my game for the Theodore Bobcats.
Lacey barking out the orders to his offensive line.
Got to watch the ball. I've already jumped off sides twice.
Play clock under 5. They get the snap off. They flush him out to the right on a little comeback. Too high for Ryan Williams. 2 receivers actually in the same area, Williams and Gill. So I don't know if someone ran the same route or got redirected there.
Well, that's what happens when you have to push and scramble the pocket, as KJ Lacey felt the pressure. And again, anytime you're able to get pressure in the pocket, it makes the defense and the secondary go ahead and pin their ears back waiting for that interception. And if you can get Lacey thrown off of his back foot, it'll be beneficial. But now here it is, a huge 3rd down, money down now for the Spartans.
3rd and 10, ball on the 10-yard line of Saraland. Play clock under 5 once again. They set up a little toss out to McWilliams, and he's going to be tackled for a loss at the 4-yard line. He goes backwards.
Big Derek Lee, the 5'11", 225-pound junior defensive end, does a great job in lateral pursuit and creates a tackle for loss. That's his 5th tackle for loss on the season. Now you're punting in the back of your own end zone, and we'll see if Saraland right here, Hunter Kirkland, is able to get a clean punt away, or whether special teams will be magnified and make a difference.
Kirkland averages about 34 yards a punt. He does not want to touch that back end line, and he gets his foot all into that one. Trey Glover feels it at the 40 with a fair catch. So Theodore is going to take over here at the 40-yard line. Don't forget to mark your calendar. Coming up Friday, November 11th, it is Veterans Day as we honor the veterans, those who have given us service and continue to give us service in the armed services. So all schools and offices for the Mobile County Public School System will be closed. It'll be a long weekend, Corley Bounty. Veterans Day is on a Friday this year.
And with the long weekend, you get ready for the Thanksgiving break that's right after it. But here, Theodore's drive stalled. That offensive possession for Saraland took less than a minute and a half.
Right.
So that defense is right back on the field, and Coach Collier wanted to wear him down. Let's see if it works.
Cam Rigby on the keeper. He picks up about 6 or 7, but we do have some laundry out on the field on the far side near the 40, possibly a hold. We'll get the exact call from Alan Duhan. He just signals going to be against Theodore, and the Boo Birds come out. And there it is. Holding against Theodore.
That's one of the biggest things that you've seen in the first half. Statistically, 5 penalties called against Theodore, and right here at the end of the run is where they're going to pick up the holding right on Jimmy Bird, the defensive end. And again, that puts Theodore behind the sticks. We're looking at 1st and 20 now. You want to try to get half of this yardage back on 1st down, but secure the football and not turn it over.
Theodore sitting at the 48-yard line of Saraland as we approach the 4-minute mark remaining here in the 3rd quarter. Al Whedon, Corley Bounty on the sidelines. We have Kimberly Dunn. A little quick draw handoff that goes nowhere for Braden Jenkins. He's tackled behind the line of scrimmage.
And again, I talked about the cooler temperatures leading to the slick field. There's a nice little glaze that I call it here on the field, and you can see the turf starting to turn brown where there's a lot of cleat marks. And because he wasn't able to plant his feet and get going north and south, a long down and distance.
Stick around. We'll have that Game of the Week brain buster question coming up just around the corner. Right now it is 2nd and long for Theodore as they're trying to find something. Kind of had a drive going, but a holding call has placed them behind the sticks. A little quick out to Trey Glover. You just talked about it, Corey. Glover lost his footing as he tried to put the plant foot down to take off to accelerate, and kind of got caught up in the turf monster a little bit there, and the Boo Birds out for Theodore.
And I call it a little bit of a glaze, and it's a light dew or a mist that are on this natural grass field here at C.A. Douglas Field, and the Bobcats not able to get their footing literally as they slipped up on the last 2 plays, creating a 3rd down and long. And again, Cam Johnson, you can throw it to him because he can high point the football. Number 12 at the top of your screen.
3rd and 25. They need to get to the 30-yard line of Saraland, but they are not going to do it as Rigby is sacked by Jimmy Bird for a loss, and the Saraland faithful go wild.
And you look at Jimmy Bird coming from his defensive line position, just beating the offensive lineman Smith, who was not able to pick it up. And again, you'll just live to fight another day. Here on special teams, you have to have a good snap and a good kick as they're bringing everybody.
They brought the house, kind of tipped it a bit. Ryan Williams is going to field it at about the 28. A flag is already out as Williams starts his run. He's being pursued by the Bobcats, turns the corner, up the Saraland sideline goes Ryan Hollywood Williams. But I don't know how exciting we're going to be because there is a flag back on the 30-yard line.
And as soon as the flag was thrown, you saw everybody kind of pause, especially the Theodore returners. But you can see why Hollywood is definitely in action mode for the Spartans. And he was able to return it against that wall. And if it's against Saraland, it's definitely coming back. And the officials are going to discuss it.
Alan Duhan and the crew going to assemble near the 25-yard line as they talk it out. I mean, Corey, I saw the flag hit the ground before Williams even gained possession of the football.
Maybe it was a hold on one of the gunners, but we're going to get the call now from Duhan.
So the flag is against Theodore. Too many men on the field for Theodore. They were a bit rushed, so the return will count for Ryan Williams.
Hollywood Williams scores his 2nd touchdown of the night, and that's why he is a game breaker and a game changer. And this young sophomore, again, has verbally committed to the University of Alabama. When you kick to him, whether it's on a kickoff or a punt, you know his speed and explosiveness. He was able to take that one to the house, and the point after is up and no good.
It is no good. We'll try to get a count on the number of men on the field when we come back. Saraland's on top 26-17.
There's a lot to like about Mobile County Public Schools.
What I enjoy about Mobile County School is the extra attention my teachers give us to help us learn.
Teachers are liking their access to technology, and students are liking the quality of their education.
I like the technology that's been incorporated into my education.
And since 1826, you have trusted us to prepare your child for their future, and we like that. Mobile County Public Schools. We are learning today, leading tomorrow.
So, Corey, we've been told by our producer, Theodore did have 12 on the field. One of the men was trying to get off that, and as you can see right there, that looks like Cam Johnson, number 12.
That's why the flag came out so quick.
So, see, the flag's already down right there as he fills the ball
right around the 28.
About the 28-yard line.
And he took it to the house, knowing that you run to the numbers, and that's the far numbers. That's what you teach your special teams players to do. That's what he did, ran toward his sidelines, toward the numbers, and his speed took over.
So great job on the camera crew and in the truck for pointing that out. But, Corey, you brought up a good point during our commercial break. You got to keep playing through the whistle. And right now, Will James is playing it. As they make a substitution, they bring Will James in for an ejection, and that's just what Theodore needs right there as he brings the return up to the 35-yard line.
We talked about Will James not being able to play since week 0. This young man is hungry, and he shows his speed as a return specialist and very nearly takes it to the house as he's just tripped up and slowed down just enough, but outstanding field position. Saraland leading 26-17 with 1:55 remaining. The time of possession has been incredible for Theodore this quarter.
It sure has. They've had the ball the majority of the time right there. One play, 71 yards. Ryan Williams, 15 seconds, 12 men on the field. As Theodore somewhat gave up on the play, weren't even trying to tackle Williams. A quick pass as they get that ball out.
Cam Johnson
to Cam Johnson. I believe that's his first reception tonight, Corey.
And that's what you have to do. There's so much focus on a 6'5" wide receiver. Now, he did come away with a clean catch. This young man is committed to play for the Commodores of Vanderbilt. And again, academically and athletically showing a superior athlete that he is.
Trip receivers to the near side. Braden Jenkins met at the line by the Spartans. That big line averaging 247 pounds as he goes nowhere. Second down coming up for Theodore.
And there's going to be an injured Saraland Spartan on the floor, on the field, and that's going to be Paramore, the nose tackle,
Jermaine Paramore,
270 junior.
I believe he may have been involved with that tackling of Jenkins as well.
And he made the tackle, but you start talking about the Boo Birds coming out because they were not happy with the fact that Cameron York was able to take the feet and shove him of Braden Jenkins.
All right, we got a break right here for injury timeout, so let's put up our Game of the Week brain buster. All right, Corey, who was the last Theodore head coach, to win 9 games in a row? We know Eric Collier comes in tonight at 8-0. Is it Kirk Douglas, Bill Meredith, C.A. Douglas, or Joe Downey? The last Theodore head coach to win 9 games in a row. We'll reveal that answer later on. Third down at about 5 coming up here for the Bobcats as they run it again. Braden Jenkins, and once again, nowhere he goes, met at the line of scrimmage as the Spartans unite to say no.
Jacob Patterson, 5'11", 285-pound senior, taking the spot of Paramore, making an instant impact defensively. But here it is, a 4th down possession with less than 27 seconds remaining here in the quarter.
The Bobcats will have to run one play as the play clock has about a 5-second differential between it and the game clock. Rigby rolls out. This is 4th down. He finds a little hole. He shoots through, and he should have enough for the first down as the clock will stop momentarily, but Theodore won't have to run another play.
On 4th down, look at the junior Cameron Rigby scramble outside the pocket and know what he needed to get the first down, and is able to do that as the secondary was worried about the wide receivers on the play, giving them a running lane.
And that is the end of the third quarter. Saraland's on top 26-17. We're going to bring you 12 more exciting minutes of action headed your way. Just make sure you keep it right here. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought we were going to take a break. We're going to go ahead and go with the question and give you the answer here, Corey, for the Game of the Week Brain Buster. So you hadn't much time to think about it. So
didn't get much time to think
I hope
about
you're ready.
That, or
so
phone a friend there.
You can't phone anybody tonight, brother.
Joe Downey is here, so why not go with, I don't know, I like Bill Meredith. I'm going to go Bill Meredith.
Going to go with Bill Meredith.
Yeah.
All right, well, Corey, let's reveal the answer. Yeah, like they say in spades, you got to go with your first mind. It is Joe Downey. 2000 was Theodore's first 10-0 regular season. And, Corey, your +1, I'll let you give it to us. What did Joe Downey have on tonight?
He had on his 2000 region champion jacket, and it was all red and white letters. He had to brush it off the dust. And you start talking about being here at C.A. Douglas Field and the tradition that this field has. It's a wonderful high school football atmosphere. The community has really come out to support.
All right, let's take a look at the Alabama Sports Writers Association top 10 polls. We're going to start in the middle with 6A, right here where we are. As you know, number 1 and number 3 are meeting right now in front of us. The only change here this week is Helena dropping out and Carver Montgomery sliding into the number 10 spot. And we'll take it back down on the field for action. It is 1st and 10 for Theodore. Ball sitting just outside of the red zone, and into the red zone goes Braden Jenkins. He's got a first down and more as he brings the pile with him to about the 6-yard line.
Well, that's one of the things that you have not seen here lately is the hole open up as the defensive linemen, the offensive linemen were able to get a hat on a hat. And now you're in a 1st and goal to go situation in the red zone area. The Bobcats need to capitalize here early in the 4th quarter.
1st and goal, ball sitting on the 6-yard line of Saraland. As they go back to Jenkins once again, he stopped for no gain. 2nd and goal will be coming up for Theodore.
Antonio Coleman, 6'3", 245-pound sophomore, and he's playing like Antonio Coleman, who's the head coach at Williamson at this point in time.
No relation, but he sure is.
But again, Antonio Coleman played defensive line while he was at Auburn and also for Williamson. And this Antonio Coleman is having an outstanding night as well.
Once again, they go back to the well. Jenkins trying to get past the 5, stopped right at the 5-yard line. That Spartans defense is bowing up right now as Paramore has come back into the ball game.
If you're not able, as an offensive lineman, to get a hat on the linebanker's doing a great job filling the gaps, and that is Cameron York coming up out of that 3-4, really the middle linebacker position to plug that hole to make sure Jenkins doesn't get to the 2nd level.
Play clock under 10. Rigby's running to the left. Does have a blocker, and Rigby's going to stretch out. That's a 5-yard touchdown run by Cam Rigby.
Great job of chipping Jimmy Bird just enough, the defensive lineman, to make sure Rigby was able to bounce to the outside and score that Theodore touchdown. And it's very similar to the same play we saw Rigby run on 4th down.
That's correct.
To get the 1st down. Another big play by your junior quarterback and a great push by your wide receivers and offensive linemen.
Frias on for the extra point. Puts it up, and it is good. Right now we're going to check in with Kimberly Dunn on the sideline. What's going on, Kim?
Hey guys, I was able to talk to Coach Kelly during the halftime. We weren't able to get him on camera, but I still wanted to ask him how they were going to come and attack this 2nd half of the contest. And he said, our goal is to come out and just play with poise, play some good football. eliminate the penalties, eliminate the mistakes, and focus on what we need to do. He also said that they had to continue to stop Theodore's running game, and we just saw Theodore capitalize on that running game by making another touchdown. So hopefully for Coach Kelly, they are able to continue to stop Theodore's running game if they want to come out and win this contest.
Thank you, Kimberly. We appreciate that. That is something they're going to have to do. And right now, quarterback Cam Rigby kind of doing what you just said, Corey, similar to that fourth down play. It was 4th and about 5, as he did it basically a student body left that time and then shot the chute to get through.
Keep an eye, though, how slick this field is becoming. And again, what an outstanding job of the staff and leadership here at Theodore High School throughout the week, preparing for this huge crowd that we're having. Even the superintendent here of the Mobile County Public Schools is here in this atmosphere enjoying tonight's contest.
Frias boots this one off. Sante McWilliams makes the sophomore mistake, Corey. He could have let it go on out of bounds, but the momentum of the return, him catching it, takes him out of bounds at the 9-yard line. And there's the scoring drive right there. 8 plays, 35 yards, and once again, Theodore eating time off the clock, Corey, 3:52.
And again, we saw them to start the third quarter take some 6 minutes off the clock, and then again, that drive almost 4 minutes. Now, deep in your own territory, Saraland cannot make any mental mistakes, jumping off sides or turning the football over. Theodore has them where they want them.
A very tightly played third quarter, only one score, a 71-yard punt return by Ryan Williams, basically off of a penalty from Theodore, 12 men on the field. But we have started the fourth quarter with a score already, but Saraland pinned against their own end zone. 2nd and 8 coming up here for the Spartans. Boy, they're really in a hole right now, Corey.
Listen to the Theodore faithful here. This 5,500-plus crowd standing up cheering for the Bobcats on our near sidelines.
He's got a man just outside the hands of the receiver, tried to connect with Ryan Williams. If Lacey had took a little off that one, Williams could have took it to the house, Corey.
It's Williams on chains. Keep an eye on that matchup as head coach and offensive coordinator Jeff Kelly definitely won't be scared to go back to that matchup tonight. Again, with plenty of time remaining, 9:19 in the fourth quarter. Third down, money down, 8 yards to go for Saraland.
Play clock under 5. Lacey rolls out to the right. Oh, look at the block provided by Sante McWilliams. And the pass is completed to C.D. Gill. No flags on the play. That's going to be a first down, and the Spartans are moving the change. Coach Collier's pointing onto the field.
I think there is a
flag. Maybe a flag on the far side. Let's see what the call may be. I'm trying to spot where the flag could be at, Corey. It had to be thrown on the far side.
Coach Collier.
Oh, it is on the far side. Our statisticians, Matt Moore and China Powell, it's over near past the 10, near the down marker.
He was extremely happy
right
after the play, pointing over to the flag. And again, this is a huge call. Third down and 8 yards to go for the Spartans, and they would have converted this first down if the play stands in their favor. If not,
that's right.
You definitely take the yardage back and pin Saraland even deeper.
All right, Alan Duhan and the crew has discussed it, and they are picking up the flag, Corey, so the reception is going to stand.
And we mentioned it's just great discussion with the officials, but it being waved off and Lacey able to extend the play, finding C.D. Gill for the completion. And now if you're Theodore, you have to put that behind you.
Coach Collier's called a timeout. He wants to get his minute worth with white hat Allen Duhan. I don't believe Theodore is out of timeouts. I think Theodore does have one timeout remaining. We'll take a look at the 5A poll right now. UMS Wright still atop the 5A poll. And once again, a unanimous pick across the state. Gulf Shore stays put at number 6, and Faith Academy moves up 2 spots to 7. UMS Wright and Faith Academy are playing tonight, and the Rams are battling UMS as we speak. If we have time, we'll take it up to the 7A poll. For the Alabama Sports Writers Association. Thompson has regained the top spot in 7A as Auburn falls 3 places to 4 after losing to Central Phoenix City last week. Fairhope sits at 5 for another week. They're playing Baker tonight, and the Foley Lions are outside of the top 10 again, picking up 3 votes. They're playing Daphne, and a real big game up at the Birmingham area, Corey. Thompson and Hoover are playing tonight. So one's playing 2 in 7A, and one's playing 3 in 6A.
Well, I tell you, there's some tremendous matchups in the entire state
It really
of Alabama.
is. It really
but
is.
None bigger here along the Gulf Coast than right here on the Mobile County Public School System television network between the #1 ranked Saraland Spartans and the #3 ranked Theodore Bobcats, as the Spartans have a fresh set of downs after that non-call and timeout by Eric Collier.
All right, here it is, 26-24, Saraland on top. 9 minutes, 8 seconds, ball sits on the 27-yard line. We're going to verify and find out if Theodore is actually out of timeouts. We know he called one early in the 3rd quarter and just called another one. I don't believe they have used 3, and the scoreboard has no indicator, but we'll get a determination about that. Have a stoppage in play right now, officials timeout, and I believe we're ready to go here with the play call.
Well, I tell you, you have home field advantage for a reason. We'll see if this home field advantage and these fans here on the Theodore sidelines can energize this defense, or whether Saraland can silence them.
Trying to go to Ryan Williams, forced out of bounds by Will James. And the flag comes out, and James is all in the face of Williams. Talking noise, Corey. It looked as if the pass was uncatchable, but Williams did appear to be forced out of bounds.
Well, we'll see what Duhan decides to.
So they're marching it off against Theodore right now.
Go ahead and call.
Here's the replay. As you can see, James was on him immediately.
The ball was well thrown out of bounds, but you could see.
But I believe the contact had already happened. Right.
He definitely sold the call, if nothing else. But it's going to be a fresh set of downs for Jeff Kelly and the Spartans here. 1st and 10, close to midfield.
Ball on the 43-yard line as they hand it off to Mick Williams. As he is wrapped up and tackled, but he squirts loose, Corey, to pick up about 2 or 3 actually on the play.
Cameron Pruitt, 6'3", 200-pound junior from his outside linebacker position, makes the stop, but not before 4 yards were gained by McWilliams.
Watch McWilliams keeps those legs going and got a little help from one of his linemen right there as well. Ball sitting on the 47-yard line, and the Theodore faithful are getting cranked up as we approach 8 minutes remaining in this contest between #1 and #3. Don't forget, whoever wins this game will be the region champ tonight. Coming around the edge and making the tackle, Navante Richardson. Corey, you could see him rush the left edge and wrap up McWilliams.
Well, sometimes when you shoot the gap, you pick the right gap to attack, and no one put a hat on him, and because they didn't, Richardson did an outstanding job. And here it is against Saraland. You mentioned it moments ago, trying to become back-to-back region champions as they've been in 6A for a while. Saraland, on the other hand, again, being back-to-back region champs would be a first for them.
Empty set, trip receivers to the top. Look out for the direct snap to Ryan Williams. We talked about this Wildcat formation that they will go to. First time they've shown it tonight. And a false start against Saraland. They couldn't get things set, so that's going to push them back 5 yards to the 44-yard line.
26-24 our score with 7:39 remaining here in the 4th quarter of action.
Scores ticking in at the bottom of your screen. This is a big night for football here on the Gulf Coast in 7A, 6A, and 5A. They bring back KJ Lacey. and Theodore brings the house. They dump it down to McWilliams, but he is wrapped up and goes nowhere as he is tackled. It'll be 4th down and about 9 coming up for Saraland.
A tremendous job of the defensive lineman with lateral pursuit. I've said that all game long. Derek Lee that time really followed the football from his defensive end position. You look at him fly to the football again, not getting anything behind him, the secondary. He holds on and again now forces Saraland to punt the football away.
Hunter Kirkland back to kick as Trey Glover sets up near the 20-yard line. Nice punt by Kirkland. Glover can field it and return this one. Turns the corner near the 30 up to the 35. I think they're going to mark him out at the 34-yard line. 6:24 remains here in the quarter. And we have flags on the far side of the field. Maybe a little extracurricular going on after the play, Corey.
Well, I tell you what right now, Al, that Landon Collier is not happy at all on that far sideline. So he's looking for the call, and we'll have to look at the replay to see what was done to him in that play that made him so upset.
That's Coach Collier's son. So holding has been called against Theodore. So that return by Glover is going to get pushed back.
We'll see here on this instant replay.
Theodore faithful not happy. Great punt by Kirkland. So if there was a hold, but there was a hit right there on Landon Collier.
Was so upset, and rightfully so. He got hit in the back after the play was over.
So the ball's at the 13-yard line of Theodore. Glover wide open in the flat on a little slant route as he takes it past the 25, close to the 30. First down for the Bobcats.
Rigby with an outstanding pass to Glover, and Glover has come up with a few receptions tonight. That one very critical, as it does allow the Bobcats to have a fresh set of downs.
1st and 10 on the 27 for Theodore. And we know they like to run it. They go to Jenkins as they started off the third quarter possessing the ball for nearly half of the quarter. And right now with 5 minutes left, Corey, you can expect a big dose of Jenkins coming up.
And Paramore from his nose tackle position did a good job of slanting down the line and tracing down Braden Jenkins. And again, a 3-yard gain. 2nd and 7 now for the Bobcats.
Theodore looks to the sideline to get the call. Taking their time, but they know they can't be too deliberate down 2 points. We've already seen a 25-yard field goal by Miguel Frias tonight. That's his longest of the season. And look at Rigby hustle and squirm and hustle and wiggle up to the 35-yard line.
Spins around Paramore and is able to pick up additional yardage. 3rd down and 2 yards to go is what it'll officially be, right at the 35-yard line of Theodore.
Look for the Wildcat play right here. As Rigby goes out, look for that direct snap to Jenkins, and there it is. He gets behind that line, and he should be right at the sticks. The extra effort may have done it for him. Based on my vantage point, it should be a first down, Corey.
Well, if you're Theodore, you definitely want to hear the cowbells ring here, signaling
here
the first down.
First down for the Bobcats at 4:41. Down 2 points, and there's a Saraland Spartan limping right there.
Jimmy Bird.
Jamison Curtis limping. He's the top tackler. As I believe we have a timeout called right now. We're going to take a break, and we'll be back with more action. 4:38 remains in this great contest. Saraland on top of Theodore.
Hello, I'm Katrina Frazier.
And I'm Deborah Robinson, and we would like to be your next realtors. As homeowners, we know how confusing it can be searching to find that perfect home that fits your needs and budget.
For that reason, it's important to have a reliable partner to represent you and to be there for every step of your home buying process. You'll find the services offered through Berkshire Hathaway, Home Services Cooper & Company Realtors are second to none.
So whether you are buying or selling your home, call us today and let our experience work for you.
1st and 10 for Theodore after the officials' timeout, I believe for an injury timeout. As Jamison Curtis had to get off the field for at least a play. Up the middle goes Braden Jenkins into Saraland territory. This is what Jenkins does. He's explosive. That's why he is over 1,000 yards in rushing this season so far.
What happens when you get a hat on a hat in that 3-4 defense? You look at the linebackers, get somebody blocked, and at the second level, he's able to attack it and get to your strong safeties. You're not going to be able to tackle this young man high. He loves to punish you with the hit at the end of the run. And again, another explosive run and a huge first down for the Bobcats.
Ball sitting on the 21-yard line of Saraland, just outside of the red zone. As Theodore is mounting this drive, and the Bobcat fans are on their feet. No one sitting down here on the home side of C.A. Douglas Field. Rigby on the keeper. He's got some room, but the hole closed too quick on him, Corey. No gain on the play.
Well, as we continue to get closer to this red zone area, the playbook starts to constrict for Kendall Gibson and the offensive coordinator of the Theodore Bobcats. Does he decide to continue to ground and pound? Because all it takes is you look at Jenkins getting past the line of scrimmage, and he does the rest as a phenomenal and explosive runner for Theodore.
Braden Jenkins on the carry. That's going to be a first down as Theodore gets into the scoring zone. It's going to be 1st and goal coming up for the Bobcats.
And again, your playbook doesn't constrict when you have Braden Jenkins, because you just call his number and keep calling his number. He gets stronger and stronger as the game goes on now.
We have a timeout called by Saraland, as Coach Kelly wants to take a break.
And Braden Jenkins does go over the 1,200-yard rushing mark on the season. He already has 20 rushing touchdowns. He had 4 rushing touchdowns against Opelika. They fed him the ball 36 times a few weeks ago. You'll see him get stronger again, as I just mentioned, as the game goes on.
Already has 2 scores tonight. Coach Kelly calls timeout, wants to give his kids a break. The Theodore Bobcat fans can feel it, Corey. The frenzy is in the air, and they are very excited. Next week, we'll be wrapping up the season as we are going up to 8 Mile for Murphy taking on Blunt. This will be a 6A Region 1 contest next Friday, October 28th, wrapping up the last ball game of the season for Murphy at Blunt.
And Theodore, Eric Collier's talked about it at halftime, grinding and winding on down here, pounding the rock, pounding the rock.
Pounding the rock right there, Damon Jones-Sullivan, as they bring him on for short gains a lot of times in situations like this, but you know they're going to have to give that ball to Jenkins, Corey. That will pretty much bring the house down. 2:20, and the clock is ticking. Saraland 2 timeouts. I believe Theodore does have 1 timeout remaining.
They do, and you're in a situation where you're 2nd and goal to go, in no hurry here, because you have Frias that can make a field goal for you, but they're trying to make it to where they don't need a field goal, a touchdown to go ahead.
Ball on the 6-yard line. Here's that Wildcat formation. Look for the direct snap to Braden Jenkins as he takes it. I believe he was trying to pitch it.
Timeout.
And there's the last timeout called by Eric Collier and Theodore at 1:50 remaining in the contest.
I can tell you this, out of the 5,500 people who are here, no one has left. Everyone here knew that it was going to be a slugfest, and I know for a fact here that with 1:50 remaining in the fourth quarter, Al, you mentioned you were going to get your money's worth if you come out here to C.A. Douglas
Absolutely.
today.
And, Corey, I'm going to have to push it. I'm going to say it's a bit more than 5,500 tonight, man. It is standing room only at C.A. Douglas Field. They're under the tents. They're outside the fence at the north stand. They even have food trucks here, so many people involved.
And I know I was here a year ago in their first-round playoff win against Prattville. There were not as many people here in a playoff game as there are here. This may be historic and record numbers that we're witnessing here at C.A. Douglas Field. And kudos to the Theodore community and the Saraland community for showing how passionate they are about high school athletics.
Here's that same formation again. Damon Jones-Sullivan in the backfield along with Braden Jenkins 6 yards away from the end zone. Down 2 points. High snap. Jenkins recovers it and recovers himself. He takes about a 2-yard loss, a high snap to Jenkins right there.
That's all right because he didn't fumble it. It wasn't a turnover, meaning that Saraland is going to have to look at the clock here as it continues to wind down with 1:30 remaining. Jeff Kelly has 2 timeouts remaining, and he goes ahead and calls it here as it will be a 3rd down and goal to go with the ball being spotted at the 7-yard line.
Because you have to think about it here, as you talked about it, Coach Collier has Frias in his back pocket. He's already hit a 25-yarder tonight. He's been booming extra points through the uprights to the field house. So Coach Kelly knows this 3rd down, I need to try to leave some time on the clock. If Coach Collier kicks the field goal, I need to go down the field and have some time.
Well, we know that, again, 3 out of 4 on the season, 75%. And in our pre-week meeting with both coaches, we asked, well, what is your comfortable range for your kickers?
Right.
And we talked with Coach Collier and Frias being comfortable with close to maybe a 40-yard field goal.
Right. He said 35 yards, and Ian is sure enough good, but close to 40, he'll do it. But there's a shot at Miguel Frias right there, the young man. He's been kicking for some years here for Coach Collier. He's a lefty as well. So here's the key play, Corey, is 3rd down. They are bringing Rigby back in. Frias is a left-footed kicker. So if they don't get this into the end zone, they need to make sure they have the right placement for where he would need to set up and kick as well.
Look at 12 here in the slot also. They love the jump ball situation, one-on-one coverage.
But Cam Johnson, and you called it, Corey, there it is. They put it up for grabs, incomplete. No flags on the play that I can see. So it's going to come down to the foot of Miguel Frias for Theodore to try to take the lead with 1:23 remaining here in the ballgame.
No timeouts remaining for the Theodore Bobcats. Here, if Saraland holds, they'll be able to take the victory formation. So it comes down to this junior kicker being able to win the first ever 6A Region 1 championship.
Setting up for a 25-yard field goal. He made one earlier in the contest. We'll let the pictures tell the story. And it is good. Theodore goes on top 27-26 after a 25-yard field goal by Miguel Frias.
But more importantly now, the ice veins for Frias knocking it through the uprights, but you must play solid on special teams on this kickoff because, again, the score now is the favor of Saraland trailing. But if they get great field position, they are very explosive offensively and can march down the field. We've already seen Hollywood Williams take one to the house on a punt return.
That's right.
Some close to 80 yards. So here, Frias has to regain his composure and really put toe to leather here for the Theodore Bobcats. Our score 27-26. A field goal will win it for the Spartans. A defensive stop will be the first ever 6A Region Championship for the home team, the Theodore Bobcats.
And knocking off the #1 team in 6A with that, Corey. So let's see what Frias will do as he decides to kick this. Will he kick away or will he do a little pooch? Let's take a look and see.
I think you want to kick it as far as you can and just trust your special teams to make great, solid tackles.
Remember the last kickoff he did, Sante McWilliams let the ball carry him out of bounds at the 9. Once again, McWilliams bobbles it near the 10, and Theodore is all over him as they tackle him right at the 10-yard line.
Cameron Pruitt on special teams. Trust your special teams. And that's exactly what Theodore did. Now, with 1:15 remaining, plenty of time for Jeff Kelly to go ahead and get his situation and his offense over there on the sideline situated. You work on this every day in practice. Your 2-minute offense, being able to go the length of the field. You do have explosive wide receivers on your team. C.D. Gill, look for a screenplay to be able to take a lot of yardage as well.
All the Bobcat fans are on their feet. 1st and 10, balls at the 11-yard line. Saraland needs a score to win as they get the pass completed to Womble as he goes up the middle past the 20-yard line. That'll stop the clock momentarily for the first down. It is tempo, 67 seconds remain.
You don't want to play too soft. We saw Alabama do that against Tennessee and give it up a situation where they were able to get in field goal range. You don't want the same thing to happen to your team here.
Lacey throws it once again. Caught by Williams at the 30-yard line. That's a 5-yard pickup. Clock is still running.
Keep everything to the middle of the field and don't let anything get behind you.
Saraland has called timeout. That is Jeff Kelly's last timeout.
I tell you, 49.5 seconds remaining. You have the Theodore faithful waiting to erupt here at C.A. Douglas Field. You have the Saraland Spartans hoping they can go ahead and make history themselves. These are two phenomenal 6A teams, regardless of the region that they're in.
The Bobcat faithful are in a frenzy on their feet. 2nd and 5, balls on the 30-yard line for Saraland. The Saraland side quiet and contemplating what will happen across the middle. They connect with Womble. He stretches out near the 50. They're going to mark him at the 49. The clock is running. Both teams are out of timeouts. Next score is going to win this ball game if Saraland can get it in.
Can't play too soft. You have 3 defensive backs in the middle of the field. You have to make sure you push everything to the numbers and not in the middle of the field.
KJ Lacey fumbles it. If Theodore has hopped on this, Corey, that will be the ball game. And I believe it is recovered by the Bobcats.
It is. It is recovered by the Bobcats.
Will James comes out with it. Alan Duhan makes the signal, and the Bobcat crowd goes wild.
And again, Will James, the senior who makes his return after a 7-week absence, playing in week 0, hurting his collarbone, able to come back and make a difference as a player on the field. As you look at Lacey, the pocket collapses, he slips, and
Corey,
he fumbles it.
The glaze you talked about on the field, he lost his footing and lost the ball, slipped right out of his hands.
It's made a huge difference for both teams here in the second half as we've seen numerous slips by both teams, and now Theodore has to find a way to compose itself here and get in victory formation as the Bobcats will be 6A Region 1 champions, having knocked off the #1 team in the state of Alabama in 6A.
That is a huge, huge feat for Coach Eric Collier and the Bobcats. He has won 2 region titles at Theodore in 2018 and 2020. And now he's going to be crowned the 2022 Region 1 champions as Theodore is going to get the win in an absolute thriller, Corey, 27-26.
And we knew it was going to be exactly that. As the fireworks are exploding here, before the clock hits triple zeros, as that's outstanding camera work by a crew, as you can enjoy the celebration that is taking place now here at C.A. Douglas Field, as the Bobcats, dropping down in classification, have defeated the #1 ranked Saraland Spartans.
And we talked about how Theodore drops down to 7A to 6A, and something Coach Collier said, man, he said everywhere I go to the 9-team regions, and when they were 6A and they created 7A, it became a 9-team region. They dropped them to 6A, and now guess what? It's a 9-team region again for the Bobcats.
Well, sometimes you determine your own destiny, and I tell you what, this was the game of the year in regards to what was at stake and living up to the hype and the billing. And everyone who had an opportunity to witness this game tonight got an opportunity to see one whale of a ball game and two fantastic teams fight to the finish.
And speaking of two, Corey, we couldn't just give out one Career Tech Education Player of the Game. We had to give out two tonight. The dynamic running of Braden Jenkins over and over, putting him in a Wildcat formation, and also Miguel Frias. 2 25-yard field goals for the young man, but the last one was the one that clinched it for him.
Well, again, he had to knock it through the uprights. We saw him preparing, and do your job. Your job is to make those kicks, and sometimes special teams players feel overlooked. And in this situation, what an epic battle between these two teams. One ranked #1, down goes #1. #3 now will probably become #1, or deservedly so, but toe-to-toe, two heavyweights going at it.
They went at it. It was very reminiscent, I told you, of that ball game when Theodore faced McGill. McGill came in with a 30-game region winning streak in a row, and Theodore knocked them off the score. It was a much lower scoring contest for us that night. It was 13-5, but this one, Corey, this lived up to the billing. I mean, it was rubber meets the road, 27-26. You couldn't ask for anything better. We had highs, we had lows, we even had the middle for you.
Well, I tell you, when you start looking at these stats, it was a dominant performance by the running game of the Theodore Bobcats.
Yes.
And they were able to go ahead and get a hat on the hat, and you knew what was coming. And Saraland had an answer for it offensively. And you're talking about the adjustments that were made by Jeff Kelly and the Saraland Spartans. If things hold to task, these two teams will meet again right here at C.A. Douglas Field deep into the playoffs, and you'll have a round 2 of a phenomenally played game tonight.
And for the Spartans, no reason to hang your head low taking your first L of the season. They had a hard-fought game tonight as well, but Theodore had the plan basically to kind of shut down that explosive passing game of Saraland. We saw it try to cut loose a couple of times, but they pretty much kept it contained.
And special teams was the difference in regards to 2 field goals, as well as on the opening kickoff, Theodore being able to steal a possession and scoring off of that kickoff as well.
Let's take it down to the sideline. Kimberly Dunn is with winning head coach Eric Collier.
We're here with Coach Collier and his lovely wife. Congratulations on a big win for you and your team, a region win, a rivalry win. What do you feel like this means to you and your team?
Well, the biggest thing is I'm proud of our kids. I'm proud of our community. Proud of my family because I know she's stressed out. But I'm just proud. You know, we made some mistakes, but at the end of the day, we won the ball game. Our kids worked their butt off all year. And it's like I tell them at halftime, they deserve this. They deserve to go out and win. So they did a great job.
And now I saw you hugging so many players, congratulating them. So this was not only a win for the team, but it felt like a personal win as well.
Oh, yes. You're going to make me cry. They worked so hard. I'm proud of all of them.
Yes. Well, it's great to have a support system and a great community. So what are y'all looking forward to going to the playoffs?
I'll be honest with you. I'm going to enjoy this one right now. Now, in the morning, I'll be all on St. Paul's. But we're going to enjoy this one tonight.
Well, congratulations, Coach. I'll let you go celebrate with your team. Thank you.
Thank you, Kimberly. Coach Collier is going to do a somewhat abbreviated Coach Saban 24-hour rule with the celebration tonight. But, Corey, there are the statistics. Look at the rushing yards by Theodore, 212 to 6.
That's just the difference in the game, and being balanced on my checklist is exactly what Saraland had to be. Not a lot of balance there. It was all passing for KJ Lacey. You start talking about the penalties. That's something that has to be cleaned up for the Theodore Bobcats moving forward. But they can worry about cleaning it up as the week continues. More importantly, they got the huge Region 1 victory and a region champion.
They sure did. Next week, we're going to be wrapping up the season for us. We're taking it back up to 8 Mile. It'll be Murphy versus Blunt. The kickoff, the pregame kickoff, will go down at 6:50 p.m. For Kimberly Dunn on the sideline, statisticians China Powell and Matt Moore, my buddy Corley Bounty, and all the folks in the truck, we appreciate you joining us tonight for this huge historic win. Theodore is the 6A Region 1 champion with the win tonight, 27-26. Have yourself a great weekend.